Hello and welcome to Talk It Out, where we talk it out. My name is Dureyea. I'm so happy to be back with you all this week after my little hiatus last week. I know y'all missed me. I know. Okay. If you haven't been to Talk It Out before, this is a space where people of opposing views can get together and have a healthy, productive dialogue in a respectful way. Keeping in mind that it's not always about proving who's right and who's wrong. Sometimes it's simply about listening and being heard. Now, before we get into our show, I want to remind you to like, comment, subscribe, share. You can get it to us on YouTube, Facebook. YouTube, you search Woe Nelly Media, WOENELLY Media. On Facebook, you search Woe Nelly Media. You search WNM Talk It Out, and you'll find us. Make sure you let everybody know about it, okay? And we appreciate that. So, without any further ado, I would like to introduce to you my illustrious panel. Returning to the panel this week is the always opinionated Spitfire from the South, Miss Georgia Logan.
Hi.
How are you doing?
I'm great. How about yourself?
I'm wonderful. You know, I love Thursdays. I can't get enough of Thursday.
I know.
And I'm really excited about today's show. So
I think you picked me just because you guys are going to roast me because I don't necessarily follow all bro codes. Apparently, according to you. According to you.
Yeah, I'm strict about bro code. That's why we're doing this. So a little bit about Georgia. Georgia is a single Libra. She always put that she's single. Mother of two beautiful daughters who is addicted to running and fitness. 2010 Georgia State University graduate with a BA in Spanish literature and also is a homeschooling mom. Thank you for everything you do. She enjoys cooking, traveling, eating, and practicing self-care. Welcome to the show. Okay. Next, returning to the panel is Miss Caroline Thrasher. Everyone, Caroline, how are you?
Doing good. Try not to choke on all the smoke here in LA and, one of the many plagues that we've been sent
this year.
Yes. So just trying to meet this next challenge with a little grace and dignity.
Yes.
Not always succeeding.
Absolutely. All right. And next we have returning to the panel from a semi-long hiatus, Mr. Timothy DeHaas, Timmy D, as he likes to be called. How are you doing?
I'm doing good. Yeah, when you said always opinionated from the South, I definitely thought you were talking about me.
Me too. I was
like, right?
I'm coming in.
When I said it, I thought I was actually, as soon as I said it, I was like, Caroline's going to think I'm talking about her. Mm-hmm. Speaking of which, let me read a little bit about Miss Caroline before I read a little bit about Mr. Tim. Yes. Miss Caroline has a BFA in theater performance from Columbus State University. She is currently living in Los Angeles and working as an actor. She's a comedian and an improviser. Funny as shit, to be honest. She plans to one day start a TikTok, and she misses Georgia for the Mexican restaurant white melty cheese dip. It's so good. It's so good. And a little bit about Tim. Tim is second of his name, lifter of weights and eater of donuts, learner of things and a student of medicine, husband to a wife, father to some dogs.
Sounds about right.
I always love reading his intro.
Bro, I try and make him unique every time.
And that's why I love it. Okay. Next, our last returning member to the panel is Nick. What's up, Nick?
How's it going? How is it going?
Did you say something? Uh-oh.
Can you not hear me?
No, you're good now.
Oh, okay. I said, how's it going?
Oh, it's going well. I'm glad to have you here. Nick is a simple man. He likes sports, plays video games, and keeps his intro short.
Yep, that's true. That's big true.
Very accurate. I love it.
Yep. How
you doing this week, Nick?
I'm doing fantastic. I got the Dallas Stars in the Stanley Cup Finals. I couldn't be happier. I just that's it. That's my life right now. That's what I'm living.
Awesome.
That's it.
Simple.
I'm glad to have all of the returning panelists. So we got a few more panelists to talk about before we get into our current events. Our new panelists. This person I've been trying to get on this panel literally for like 5 or 6 months. Okay. But she's always got something going on. You know, she had a baby, and whenever people get babies, they just always, I'm so unavailable. I have a life that depends on me. Ooh, you know, like that's a thing. So let's bring in, here. Let's bring in. Yeah, that's true. Let's bring in Miss Megan Noel Cowgill. Hey, Megan.
Hey, Dureyea. 5 or 6 months, I think, is an exaggeration. 5 or 6 months? It hasn't been that long. It can't have been.
I started these in like May.
Oh, well, it's a pandemic, so like.
Right. Okay, so let me read a little bit about Megan. Megan is a stay-at-home mom and a teaching artist with experience in playwriting. She's such an incredible writer, prop design, stage management, and devised performance. She has a BFA in acting and directing from Columbus State University. She's a dinner party enthusiast who loves to make DIY gifts for her friends and family. She will be launching her website, festiveandfrugal.com, just spelled straight out, in October of this year, and hopes to reach cooks and crafters of all skill levels to build a community in these socially distant times. Check out her step-by-step recipes in the highlights of her Instagram at Christmas Fish. Okay. Next,
I didn't realize you were reading
one
those
of our
out loud.
last. Oh, you didn't realize I was reading these out loud? Well, now you know. Now you know. All right. So 2 more panelists that I'm very happy to have with us. One is another really hilarious person. So I think they're hilarious, at least. Mr. Adam Archer. Hey, Adam.
Hey, I know what I sent you as my bio, and now I feel sort of like a tool after like hearing George, after hearing like George's and all these other very creative ones.
Right. But I mean, next time you'll beef it up. But I'm going to read what you wrote.
Okay.
Chicago actor, improviser, and current Second City resident stage actor. But that's no small feat. Let's be clear. That is no small feat. Those
yeah,
are...
I just wish I had a kid or something.
it's you're not
No,
missing. You're
you
missing
don't.
a lot, but
Georgia,
it's
you
okay.
have one you can lend me, so I'll just.
Look, mine are almost grown. They'll cook and clean now. You can take them.
This is when it's best to have them. Okay, so we got one more panelist to add to our panel and round out the night. This person is a, I want to say, he was referred to Talk It Out by fellow panelist Joe. And you know, Joe's always opinionated and has all the good stuff to say. So expectations are high for this next panelist, Mr. Jason Picker. Is it Picar or Picker?
Picard. It's like Picard, but with no D. And I'm very happy to not meet your expectations tonight. I will just.
Was that a little Joe shade? That was shade to Joe. I'm gonna tell him.
Nah, dude. Joe is like, who can live up to Joe?
True, touche. He's a good. But I'm sure you'll make your own lane tonight. A little bit about Jason. Jason is a dad, a creative director, actor, comedian, and MC who you might have seen briefly in Gilmore Girls for half a second on Last Comic Standing a dozen years ago. He is currently living in Seattle and raising his son Elijah with his wife Sarah. You can also follow him on all things at Jason Pickar, JASONPICAR. His at
PICKAR.
I'm sorry.
It's
at JASONPICKAR. And
yeah,
is
it's
at,
like a worse version of an American picker. It's an American picker.
Like a pirate. So that's how you remember it. His at I Can Make Food Instagram is a little dormant, but also the only path he sees to getting on the Food Network. I'm pretty sure we just talked a lot about cooking, Mexican dip here, DIY cooking. There's a project somewhere in this panel. I see it. All right. Well, now that we've had all of our panelists introduced, my check-in for the week, everything's been going crazy. Things are awesome. I'm doing a lot of editing and reading and doing a lot of things behind the scenes to bring you all some more content, but I'm gonna keep that under wraps for right now and keep it to myself. But thank you all for being here and I'm ready. Now, before we get into our current events, I would like to share with you a small commercial break. Oh, there we go. Yes, we keep it all in the family round here, okay? That is my uncle, his production studio. They do custom beats, music, compositions. If you're filming something, you want a custom-made song for your podcast, anything like that, hit me up at admin@WoeNellyMedia.com, and we will work that out for you. Now, it's time for some current motherfucking events. First up, let's start it off right. Bow. The sadness that is Cardi B and Offset splitting up. Did you have something smart to say, Tim? What you say?
Yeah, I was like, didn't we talk about Cardi on my last?
I think we talk about Cardi and Beyonce like
every podcast.
And so I don't know why y'all act surprised. So
that's just current events.
Yeah.
Hello. Don't you hate when folks come on here and act new because we got company? Don't do that. Don't do that. Anyway, like I was saying, yesterday it was announced that Cardi B and Offset were filing for divorce, which to me is very sad. I think it's always sad when divorce happens at all because, you know, there's so many, like, there's such a ripple effect to that. It doesn't just affect the two people involved. It affects the family around them, the friends that they've built, the children. And so I don't really want to talk about necessarily the split. I want to talk about the reaction that it's getting from everyday people. So online, I have been seeing a lot of negativity toward her. Basically, people saying that, you know, they're talking in reference to WAP, basically saying, well, I guess you should have cooked and cleaned and all these other things. And which I think is horrible. To me, when a woman is in a situation like, when a person is in a situation like that, and you kick them while they're down, especially when you know for a fact she Dominican, you know she know how to cook. But you know what I'm saying? Like, to me, I feel like there's a fine line between when we separate celebrities and pretend that they're not actual people and do hurtful things to each other without considering that they're actually human beings behind it. So I really want to open up the conversation and talk about the response that it's getting. What do you all think? Do you think that that she shouldn't open up this debate about her public life in her songs and maybe it wouldn't open up to criticism? Or do you feel like this is people just being unnecessarily cruel?
I mean, I think anytime, ain't no one else going. So I think anytime you're a celebrity figure, like, you're always going to be subjugated to just like harsher conditions, even more so than any normal person. Like, I did look up the stats though. Celebrity divorce rates are twice as high as non-celebrity divorce rates,
which is crazy because, you know, divorce in this country is at 52%.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but when it comes to like Cardi B and Offset aren't like Hollywood, but when you talk about like a celebrity marriage in the traditional Hollywood sense, like, often that's something that was done for publicity, to create an event, to create something that, you know, got them back, people talking about them. Now, I'm not saying that's what Cardi B and Offset were, but I am saying, like, on that overall stat of Hollywood divorcing more than regular people, that's what I would think. But you and I hang out in different areas of the internet, because the responses I read were like, oh, saw this coming, Offset's been cheating on her at every strip club. It's not about should she cook and clean. That's just kind of men trying, or traditionalists trying to impose their own views on everyone around them. You know, it's to me, you know, it's so sad when people think that they can just be one team and be together forever, and then that breaks up. That's tragic. And it is. And so why try and impose your own morality on top of that?
Right.
That's just cruelty.
When you discuss being in different sections of the internet, it's interesting. Yeah, we do have kids. Some of us, that's sometimes they just bark. Anyway, but when you consider being, I see you. I'm gonna go. When you consider being in different parts of the internet, it's interesting because, you know, this has been I've had this certain conversation I'm speaking of was kind of an ongoing conversation that started with that Cardi B should have never made that song anyway, because she's setting a bad example for women, teaching them not to be good wives, teaching them to be like overly sexual. I totally disagree with that. But so then the argument became, well, look what happened. You weren't being wife material. And I agree. I think that's just people trying to force women into one position. Like, this is what a woman is, when my understanding of, and correct me if I'm wrong, ladies, women's empowerment, feminism, it's not about women not being sexual. It's literally about women being able to be who and whatever they want in any capacity. So Caroline, you wanted to say something?
Oh, I was just going to say that I'm not shocked about any kind of backlash or outcry, because people have had problems with Offset and Cardi B since the beginning, ever since Offset cheated, and Cardi has made mistakes in her past too that she's apologized for. So I feel like a lot of people are just like waiting for them to fail. It is sad because like divorce is hard. They've got a kid together. I feel bad for that baby.
That's the hard part.
But I would say that I feel like any kind of like negative backlash against Cardi B has nothing to do with her actions, and a lot more to do with the fact that America really hates women, and America really hates women of color, and really hates women who express sexuality openly. So Cardi B happens to be check, all those things. Right. So that's probably a big part of the problem.
I'll say, as from somebody who's been divorced, it's not fun. It sucks. But as someone who also used to stay at home, who took care of their kids and, all day long, because I homeschooled them, and try to cook and try to clean and do all of these things for my family and for my husband. And then you're saying, I ain't got to do what you got to do to keep a man. I got up. So, I mean, that's kind of also like a strike. And so some people are probably like, yeah, okay. I don't think it's okay to use her lyrics against her. But once again, you're an artist, you're a musician. You did kind of put that out there. And she did. She knew her marriage was on the rocks. So I don't think she did it with the intent of, okay, I know I'm going to get a divorce. I think she just said it to make her money, number one. And both of them are,
It's a catchy hook, a bar.
It's a catchy line. And I mean, we are living in modern times. So women are like, I'm not going to cook. I'm not going to clean. So she was probably speaking on those women. I have no problem with women who don't cook and clean. Everybody's not traditional. But I think, honestly, a lot of it is just her haters from the beginning. That's all that is. Like, waiting for her to fail at any aspect. And I think as a mom and as a wife, my divorce was my biggest failure in my life. And it's because I blame myself for so many, like, not doing enough, or what did I do wrong? This is that. I mean, Dureyea knows my marriage ended violently, and it was very, very crazy. But I just know she's going through similar things. I'm not saying Offset's putting his hands on her or whatnot, but that was rocky from the get-go. A lot of people were saying that we shouldn't blame Cardi, this is that and that. She is responsible for this. They're both responsible for this. She knew what she was going back to. And I know that probably sounds fucked up to say, but all women have probably done this. We have gone back to relationships that we knew at the end of the day were not going to work. And we were just crossing our fingers and hoping for better. And it bit her in the ass as a woman, as a mother, and as a celebrity. And that sucks.
Then can I ask a question to the group? Considering that most of us are either married or have had long relationships, literally everybody but me. When is the point in the relationship where you decide, because I feel like I look at my grandmother. My grandmother was married to two men her whole life. My mother's and my aunts and uncles, their father, and then my step grandfather, who's my grandfather as far as I'm concerned, because he's been there since before I was born. But the way she's always put it is, you're not supposed to just throw in the towel. You're supposed to make it work. But then up to a certain point, you can't make it work and you got to go. So where is that point? Like, how do you decide when it's like too much, too little? I actually came across a post that said women have all been cheated on. They should expect to get cheated on. And it's nothing there. And every woman who's been married for a long amount of time has probably been cheated on and taken them back at least once. What do y'all feel like about people who say stuff like that? There are no statistics, Tim. Don't give me the statistics face.
Beth,
he loves statistics.
Beth, if you're watching, that's not true. I didn't do it. Just so you know.
Now you got all married candidates, like,
Yeah.
but
Oh, that's our dodge, just in case she like comes in here throwing shit. You know.
I think I think the idea that all women have been cheated on or should expect to get cheated on. You are probably dating in a pool. I think people who let's just for this sake consider cheating as a form of emotional abuse or a form of sometimes people who hurt us pretty bad. It doesn't necessarily make us love them less or want to get. It made the initial response may be want to get away, but I think there's a pull back to that. In a way, it's maybe Stockholm syndrome is too big of a thing, but I think you're dating in a pool of people. I don't think you're ever going to date too far outside of what you normally date. I think there's a pattern there. I think people have dating patterns, and I think someone who would tweet if you date a cheater, or every person has been cheated on. I imagine the person who tweeted that has been cheated on several times, and their friends have too. And I feel like they're all within a circle of people.
Are you?
That's just a bit of human nature. I mean, I know all my guy. Some of my friends that I have known in the past that have been guy friends. Let's put it that way. Yeah, I had to say, look, dog, you know better. Cut. I'm not about to be a witness to this.
Yeah.
Get your shit together and go over there. I mean, I agree with that statement and I don't agree with that statement because a lot of older Black women will tell you, like the ones that, honey, look, they gonna do it. And I keep telling them, well, they can do it, but I ain't the one. I am not you. I am not you. But like Dureyea asked, like when is it time to go? It all depends. It depends on, number one, first and foremost, if you have children. That is a big thing right there. Married or not married, but especially married. If you guys have a child, number one, you got the kid in the middle. But two, that adds a lot of weight to a divorce, a lot of complications, and especially with kids, it can get really, 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 really ugly. And then you have the aspect of, well, I can probably fix this, or I'll change, or he'll change, or we've been at this so long. It's about also what you invest in one another. I mean, for example, for me, I stopped at my bachelor's. I was like, I want to stay at home with my kids. I was going to go get my master's in Spanish literature and my translator certification, but I didn't. I wanted to be there for my family. I wanted to be there for my husband. So I made this grave sacrifice. I can't up and just get a job like normal people because I don't have a work history like that. My work history was my family, my husband. So how do you walk away from that easily? Even if you had that feeling like, it's probably over, like I should probably try. So it's a bit of that too.
Go ahead, Megan.
Yeah, I just wanted to interject that it's also, I think, about what you're forgiving. Like, are you forgiving one incident, or are you forgiving one incident, but then there's a whole bunch of other stuff happening too? Like, if you're not being emotionally like replenished by this person or whatever. So I think it's about if it's worth it to forgive the person, because you don't want to waste forgiveness on something that's not gonna follow through. It's not like the forgiveness has to be worth something, because I think most people have to forgive to an extent to move on in anything, even if it doesn't end well. But I think that forgiveness takes a lot of effort and a lot of time and a lot of personal insight. So I think that if it's not worth forgiving someone for an incident, then don't go through with it.
To me, it makes perfect sense. I feel like but the thing about forgiveness is it's such a tricky thing to handle, because at some extent of it, you feel played, and there's a part of you that feels like if you forgive, you're setting yourself up for a repeat of what just happened. And you're putting so much faith into the person that you're forgiving that they won't do it again. And that's totally really out of your hands. I guess the only comment that I've heard right now that kind of is interesting is the fact that they both had a hand in divorce, where I feel like I've never been divorced, but I've been in breakups, which is totally not the same, but I'm just considering in that way. Like, I think there is a sense of knowing, like, I know this isn't working, that kind of thing. But then what the rumors are about infidelity. And so if it was infidelity, is that her fault?
I mean, women still blame themselves for a lot of things.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Caroline.
I wanted to respond to a commenter who commented on something that I said, so I feel like I should just comment back.
Please.
And just state that I do go on record saying that I think America hates women. That is not something I said lightly, and that is something I do stand by. I don't think hashtag not all Americans, but you know what I'm saying? Like there's legislation. They're fighting every day to try to censor women's contents, legislate women's bodies. Like women weren't allowed to get a credit card without their husband's approval till the 80s. Like white women weren't allowed to vote till 1920 with the passage of the 19th Amendment. Like we are way behind men when it comes to what we're allowed to do and express and be in this country. And to specifically talk about Cardi B, I'm not glazing over what Cardi B has done in the past. I'm not like a Cardi B stan. I was simply speaking about them making mistakes in the past and getting divorced. If we want to be specific, yes, Cardi B admitted to having drugged men in the past for, I think, if I'm correct, the purpose of robbing them, taking money from them and leaving so she wouldn't have to, spend the rest of the night with them. The difference between her and Bill Cosby is Bill Cosby would drug women to rape them. And that is why he is sitting in jail. So that's a very big difference. And do I think Cardi B should have to, be prosecuted and whatever for her crimes, for theft? Sure. I mean, again, I'm not like here being like Cardi B doesn't deserve to go to jail, but I do think that those are two very different things. And if we're gonna be like bringing up Cardi B and Bill Cosby in the same sentence, we should go ahead and say that those are very different things.
I agree. So, did anyone else want to say anything about this topic before we move to our next current event?
I think.
Oh, okay. Go ahead.
I think just in general, like relationships take two people.
Mm-hmm.
And so to say one side's at fault more than the other, and granted, like infidelity is a huge strike, and I'm not saying that people are justified in cheating because of, say, whatever, right? But generally, relationships take two people to work, and no one individual person is at fault when relationships fail. And granted, that's, like I said, cheating and infidelity and stuff is a whole nother topic, but that's just in general my thoughts.
Awesome. I really like that. We could talk about it some more. But I really like what everyone's saying. I feel like in general though, like please be sensitive to people when they're going through like life changing type stuff. Like if she like if it was something small, like she tripped on the red carpet, cool. But this is heavy.
That's like Americans' relationship with celebrity in general. Maybe the world's like the shut up and dribble. Because you're rich, therefore I can treat you like shit. Like because you're rich. Oh, you're getting divorced, but you have a yacht, so I get to roast you. But like if your neighbor was going through this, would you like say that shit about them? I doubt it. It's like because I guess most of Americans or maybe assume celebrity provides some type of emotional barrier, but just because we don't see them because they have to go smile on a red carpet doesn't mean they're not hurting or like fucking humans,
Good points.
Yeah.
It's interesting.
America hates a lot of people, by the way. The guy also
I see. I was about to say something too. He's
I'm
a
not
panelist.
saying America
Caroline.
only hates women. America has a lot of hate in her heart, and she's got time to hate on all of us.
So.
Right. Absolutely.
The thing about it is,
She's like Family Guy.
No, she's like South Park. America's much more.
Oh, that too.
South Park got no cut cards. But to respond to Deuce, who is a panelist, he's been on here a few times. I want to say that when you talk about you're talking to a black man, it's interesting though, because, and this is a totally another topic, which we might talk about in a future episode. Do black men accept that they also have privilege, the privilege of being a man? And so to say that you don't that because you're black means that that you might be like more entitled to the hate. Like I'm not really going to speak on that, but I'm just saying like everybody has privilege and everybody in certain circumstances probably doesn't. So I just because a person has privilege doesn't mean that they are immune to emotional strife or hardship. And so when we see that hardship happening, whether it's Elon Musk getting a divorce or whether it's, you know, somebody like me or you, I think we should give the same amount of compassion because there's still people underneath it all. But that's just.
And I did start my statement by saying that when I said America hates women, I said specifically women of color, because I do recognize my privilege as a white woman who, and when I bring up something like the 20th or, you know, the 19th Amendment, like recognizing the privilege that it was only white women who were granted the right to vote that year, you know, Black women were, and, you know, Hispanic women and Native women were still fighting for that right, even years and years later. So I want to say I'm here to check my privilege, and then I'm not speaking, but I am a woman, so I can speak to, you know, those issues and how difficult I think some things in this country are for women specifically, and specifically women of color, which I can't speak to as much.
Okay. Well, so we're going to move to our next current event. So these protests have been going on for a very, very, very long time. About, I can't even tell you the days. I'm not a reporter, but it's been a lot of good old months. This has been going on ever since George Floyd's unfortunate passing. The way that these protests have they have, for the most part, remained peaceful, but there has been some violence involved. Some of the violence has been attributed to out-of-state agitators, somebody who wants the Black Lives Matter movement to look bad, so they go to these protests and incite violence just to then say, oh, look at the violent Black Lives Matter protest. Having said that, what I'm about to say, in my personal opinion, has nothing to do with that. But I want to preface it saying that I think this has nothing to do with Black Lives Matters. So two policemen were ambushed while they were sitting in their patrol car, and a gunman walked up to the car and fired into the front seats. Both officers were shot in the head, along with multiple other injuries. And just recently, one of the officers was released and is at home. I don't know if they're at home, but they were released from the hospital. The other officer is still in the ICU, but surgery, they didn't die. So I wanted to talk about this because I feel like this is a thing that bothers me about this. First of all, they were in an area that's very, very anti-police anyway. They were also in an area that is just very a violent area. So I personally don't like that this is being attributed to the Black Lives Matter movement. And I kind of want to know how you feel about that. Because people would like to say 1 + 1 equals like A + X, whatever. I don't think these are even in the same equation. I don't do math. That's why I'm on here right now. So what do y'all think about that?
I feel like anytime there's a murder of a police officer, unfortunately, it always goes to organization or a protest that is trying to gain vision. Whatever the like major protest from oppressed people is at the time, if there's a murder of police, it's always used as like well, what about this? Mm-hmm. They're not talking about this. The media's not talking about this. Mm-hmm. And I don't think anybody would be like, oh, well, good, because the police don't just. I don't think anybody in a Black Lives Matter protest would begrudge the people. Like, why can't it be, damn, that's terrible. We all agree that's terrible. It has to be like, ooh, these police officers were attacked. And therefore, your Black Lives Matter movement holds no water because
of that one thing. Right.
You know,
93% of Black Lives Matter protests, according to Time Magazine, have been peaceful. So let's just get that straight right there. So like a large majority of protests has been super peaceful.
Look at Tim's face. Before Tim, I'm gonna go to Tim because I know that face.
I didn't say.
I'm gonna go to you after this because I know that face. So let me say this before. So I personally found that statistic and I posted it somewhere, and the response I got was, well. And they read me a summary of all of the protests and like the breakdown of what's a protest versus what is a battle versus all this stuff, right? But Because I know that's what Tim is about to talk about.
I wasn't going to say anything. I really wasn't even going to say anything about it.
Okay, that's fine. So basically, it broke down all this, and it turns out that a lot of protests this year have actually, there's more violent protests than we're maybe categorizing as 93%. However, here's the real tea. The list of protests that these people are bringing up to negate what you just said statistically, Caroline, it considers all demonstrations, not Black Lives Matter demonstrations. So for anybody out there, the New York Times specifically was talking about Black Lives Matter demonstrations. As far as every demonstration that's happened this year, whether it's from them folks walking up to the Capitals with their guns and it's being like, we don't want to stay in our houses. All of that has been happening. A lot of it hasn't been getting the national news attention that this one's getting. So just gauge your resources effectively when you're making these comments.
And I mean, God forbid we hold an entire group to the actions of someone outside of that group, or even within that group. Christians, we want to start doing that, Christians.
Yeah, that's called intellectual dishonesty, is what that's called.
Cognitive dissonance. I started by saying the statistic about Black Lives Matter, but was going to move on to say that, I mean, I live in LA. I don't live in Compton, but I live near Compton, just straight down the 110. And yeah, the minute that happened, it was a lone gunman. Everybody saw the video. It was reported everywhere it was lone gunman. But all of a sudden, like Adam said, they start being like, well, Black Lives Matter. What do you got to say about that? And it's like that it was a lone gunman who was a crazy person and decided to take a weapon and shoot two people sitting there. Like, it has nothing to do with Black Lives Matter. I even got in a fight on Facebook with some idiot I went to high school with, and he was like, "Don't you think I was inspired by Black Lives Matter?"
Is that how we said it?
Yeah. And I was like, I don't know his damn inspiration, bitch. I'm not in his mind. You know what I think was inspiring him was probably the meth that he was on. Like, he's clearly not mentally there if he thinks that it's cool to go up and shoot two cops. Like, and also, all these they're talking about all these protesters outside of the hospital. All these protesters. There was 4 men standing outside the hospital, and one of them off the top of his dome was just like, you know what? I hope they die. And that's the headline news. Black Lives Matter protesters say they hope the cops die. It's just so dishonest. It's absolutely not what happened. And I don't see why the Black Lives Matter movement has to answer for one lone gunman's actions. Also, like the Alex Villanueva, who's the sheriff, is turning to LeBron James being like, hey, you should match the reward for finding the shooter. You should match the $175,000. It's like, what does LeBron James have to do with this? Because he came out in support of Black Lives Matter, he owes you $175,000. Go home, Alex.
I miss having the ISIS buzzword where we could just blame anything that was bad on ISIS. Because now anything bad happens, it's like, well, Black Lives Matter did it. Like, you know,
we still have socialism, though. We can blame everything. The Republicans.
Oh yeah, we're on the socialism one too.
But also, shouldn't LeBron James just dribble? I mean, I thought that was the thing.
That was the thing.
He's about to play the
Colin Kaepernick should
Meanwhile, there are foreign actors that are out there actually affecting all of the elections and everything, and it's being denied by the people at the top, except for all of the top FBI folks. Sorry to bring it back down, but it's just like, it kills me. It kills me that, like, who are we going to blame now? What about blaming the people that are actually attacking us?
So that's actually really funny. When I was smiling, I was thinking about the story. I actually wasn't going to, if I was going to say anything about that, I would comment on the fact that the news article that reported the fact that they were all peaceful is a very left-leaning article. So of course they would report something in the favor. That's all that I thought about. But additionally, I think the same thing happened when that little kid got shot in the head by in his neighborhood. They tried to say like, oh, look at this is indicative of Black Lives Matter. You guys don't care about this, yada yada. And it's, I feel like
Russian bots pushed that story.
Well, yeah, but I was gonna say, I feel like, why can't we just take individual situations for what they are? Like,
also there was no outreach because they arrested the guy that did it to that little kid.
He went to jail.
Like,
the guy's gonna go to.
I'm pretty sure if they did not arrest those people.
Right? If he didn't arrest those people,
I'm pretty sure they did not arrest the people who hurt him.
Yeah,
no, he's in prison.
Hold on one second.
There'd be a lot of Proud Boys out there.
Let me get George was trying to make a comment really quick.
Oh no, I was just saying I'm pretty sure that if they had not arrested the person who shot that little boy, it would be black folks, white folks, Hispanic. Everybody would have came together. It's an innocent child. At this point in time, color don't even matter. We talking about somebody's child, okay? Just being just
in front of his family. Like what? It was so
But in that,
right? Yeah.
Megan, go ahead.
No, that's
go
fine.
ahead.
That's all.
But in that, but color does matter because there has been children that have been murdered and their
Elijah Woods.
Their murders weren't brought to justice. You know.
I mean,
but
I get what you're
people
saying.
who were outraged by that were told to well, it's just.
I think in general, the country that we live in, we need to be like exactly. I've had a lot of conversations lately that were very trying emotionally because I really do believe in having conversations like this because I do believe that for every person that refuses to have their mind changed, there are actually some people out there who just are it's so like set in their brain because that's all they've ever known that they just haven't had that logic happen where it's like, oh, I get what you're saying. The fact that they're attributing that a black man kills a white guy and they immediately link that to the biggest current black movement is racism. Like, and to me, it's like, I don't see how you can get, but we have to keep having these conversations because of it. I think the goal is for us to all get on the same accord at some point as a nation, because we're not like other nations in that sense, where it's like there's not two different Americas. It's not a blue and a red. There's like 80 different Americas, and there has to be some sort of common link between us so that way we can be productive moving forward. Having said that, I personally feel like a lot of this stuff that's happening is it's got a lot of positives that come out of it. Because I actually had a conversation the other day with someone. I was trying to get them to understand on this. And then like halfway through, they were like, oh. So it's worth it. All right. I'm going to move to the next topic if anyone doesn't have anything else to say.
I said Trayvon Martin, which was awful situation, but I meant Tamir Rice. I want to correct the record on that. Tamir Rice is who I was speaking about, who was playing with a toy gun in a park and cops came up and within 10 seconds, he was laying dead on the ground. So.
Okay, so that makes me want to talk about Kyle Rittenhouse for a second. This is why I want to talk about it. Not really him so much as so basically, let me read this article. So according to NY Daily News, a class was assigned an essay report to write about American heroes. Yes, and this was the list of American heroes that they got to choose from. I'm sorry, heroes, not American heroes, just heroes in general.
What the fuck?
No, I'm sorry. So this is the title. It was "Hero for the Modern Age" was the essay they had to write, and I was praying that this was a joke, but I don't think it is. The list of people they could write a biography on was Mahatma Gandhi, Cesar Chavez, Malcolm X, George Floyd, Rittenhouse, and Joseph D. Rosenbaum.
Wait, is American heroes?
No, it just says heroes of the modern age. Okay. Now, me trying to
say half of those aren't even American, but
me trying to rationalize why this would be assigned, it's like maybe there's some motive to make people see things from multiple perspectives and maybe kind of understand like why people are motivated to do things, or maybe even talk about intentions getting lost in the process, you know, the road to hell, XYZ and the third. But how do you all feel like, let me read this quote. Okay, students at WT White High School in Dallas were given an assignment dubbed Hero for the Modern Age, which called for students to write half-page biographies of those people I listed. The assignment also misspelled their names according to CBS Dallas Fort Worth. I just have so many issues with this, and I want to know how y'all feel.
Trash.
Is it weird that they list him as one of them to pick and also one of his victims?
Right.
That just the mental gymnastics I gotta do just doesn't make sense to me.
That's
You
why I
can't
felt
have
like
it
it
both
was
ways.
intentional. That's why I felt like it was intentional that they were
for
trying to make
sure.
you see from both sides.
Are we sure the assignment was like heroes? Like I could understand maybe like people that incited like media. Like I don't know. I just don't understand how
They have it in quotations
because there's like
the assignment is dubbed "Hero for the Modern Age."
Because for some people, Rittenhouse was a hero. I mean,
Mhm.
that's why. I mean, we're
So
gotta go ahead.
I'm
so on
sorry.
the there's another article I wrote up, but it said write at least one page essay on which of the 6 persons you believe demonstrates qualities and concepts of a hero. So it's not that I don't think it's that they think.
You're on
cut
mute.
out
lost
there.
your audio.
Wait, can't hear you, buddy.
My bad. The concepts or the qualities that a hero might show. But I think George is right. I think a lot of people, take that list and applaud those people as heroes. Which
being
is
a literature major.
Bring it out. Bring it out.
First of all, that is meant. But hold on, wait. They asked kids to do this. Was this for kids?
They're in high school.
High school.
They were
High
kids.
school.
All
I mean,
right, never. They were kids.
Philosophy.
White high school. White high school.
That's the part I just.
Okay,
that's why I was like,
okay.
that's
I
mixed up.
can see
I
that
mean-
topic as a college topic, something to play with your mind. Like, how can you paint this person as a hero? Because even in my philosophy classes, we had we would have to pick a topic to defend and debate that we didn't agree with, but we had. It was something to play with our minds, to make us think. But in reality, yes, some of those people on there are heroes for some people, and honestly, from certain people that I've heard that support Rittenhouse, I can write a paper on why he's a hero
From their perspective.
From their perspective,
Absolutely.
I can.
And it's interesting. I
can.
want to say this really quick, and I want to say, because what she just said is very real. Like, when it comes to intention and perspective, you have to think about that. Like, do we really, is it, if we had to think for a moment, okay, what if Kyle Rittenhouse didn't mean to do that? And you had to wrap your mind around it. I know that's not what we want to do, and I personally don't think. But
I don't think anybody's trying to say that he didn't mean to,
right?
And that's what makes him a hero.
I think my point is that I think it's for Americans as a whole. The idea that we can start to see stuff from other people's perspective is a necessity. I just don't know if this was the best way to go about doing
Not for children.
I do want to play devil's advocate though for this.
Please.
Wait, hold up. So let me get Jason first, and then you.
Okay, go ahead.
I'm sorry. My main issue with this whole one is they throw in Joseph D. Rosenbaum in there. It's like, okay, Kyle Rittenhouse, if you want to have that type of philosophical argument, it's clearly misplaced, it's clearly insensitive, but that on a higher level of intellectual curiosity, sure. Joseph D. Rosenbaum is someone who was shot, and maybe for being a convicted sex offender, that's, the information. It's like a victim. And so is a victim a hero? Okay, you know what? I take that back. Because if you want to talk about like the heroics of victimhood and that,
because he was trying to get the weapon away from him.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm going to take that back because he was, because the more active role, and concede my time over in this direction.
So
what do you mean he was a more active role?
Well, that he was trying to stop it. I had forgotten that he was the one who was trying to stop.
But
it.
So there was. Oh no, go ahead.
No,
well, so they did have. So there was like other video. So the video everybody saw was when he shot those people, right?
Yes.
There is video of the moments leading up, which is also unfortunate. Very, very unfortunate video footage. I'm not going to say the guy's innocent. I just want to be clear here, but I am going to point out, like, he wasn't necessarily like doing anything. If he wasn't a minor, I would say he would have been probably fine, but he probably should be walking around with that weapon at the time. He was defending himself against both people. I will say that. Now, he had every right to walk around and protest, say what he wants to say. Now, like, hey, you probably shouldn't have. He shouldn't have that gun in the first place. But
legally,
that's a whole. Yeah, correct.
Well,
correct.
then we have to consider the fact that it's his mother's fault. Like his mother brought him.
Precisely.
Anybody I want to blame is his mom.
That's why I think his self-defense is a lot different. I don't blame him for his self-defense as much as I blame his mom for even letting him effing be out there.
The human brain.
They packed that kid, which is the problem. Is he's going to be a hero in a false light where he shouldn't be held a hero. He shouldn't also be viewed as like evil, in my opinion. I don't think he's either. He was in a really bad spot because his mom made some real poor choices parenting, letting that kid sneak out of that house somehow with that firearm.
She drove him.
She drove him? Okay, yeah. That's even worse. I read a different story.
They were there together.
And human brains do not develop until you are 25. Human brains do not fully develop until you're 25.
You're in a 17-year-old and put him in a volatile situation with an arm with a machine gun. You take a 17-year-old and
so he did. I will say this though: if I have to give credit to this kid, he could have done a lot more damage to more people. He had some extreme trigger discipline to only hit the 2 people that attacked him. Only the 2, which is amazing, by the way.
Girl, bye.
Don't use the gun.
Girl, bye. What you talking about?
Look. Should he be in trouble? Sure. But like, dude, he did like that's on the mom, man. That's on the mom.
I agree, and she should be charged.
On the mom.
I feel like
he should be charged to the full extent.
Okay, wait a minute now. All right, so we raise our children to one day make their own decisions. Right. He is 17 years old, and I do understand the psychology of a child. This is why you don't reason with children. They're idiots. They cannot. They lack the capacity to think logically. That's why they have parents. So yes,
that's why life
and death is not a consequence you can understand unless you're taught empathy. If you're not taught empathy, you don't understand.
Not everyone possesses the ability to empathize. Number one, I had just recently learned that in my 30s. Number two, the mom should be charged because she drove her child across state lines with a freaking semi-automatic.
Hang on. Just to clarify. The gun wasn't his or his mom's. It was his friend's, and it was never. It was never transported across state lines.
How, Sway? How?
Because his friend lived in Wisconsin.
He was transported across state lines.
Right.
He is the problem.
In order
to
hold that gun.
Hey, look, let me pause right here. Tim, this is what happened.
Regardless if he was transported without gun or with gun, he was transported across state lines. He had a deadly weapon in his hand, and his mother allowed it. So
after the crime, he went back to the state. That's a federal charge at that point. That's a federal.
Yeah, his 17-year-old kid who just had to cap 2 dudes. I'm surprised he even went home, to be honest with you. I'm real surprised he even went back.
White privilege, baby. That's gonna keep it real. That's called white privilege.
He also ran away while he was kind of in a crowd. I don't think they were going to find him that night.
He would have been shot dead instantly if he had shot 2 people, child molester or not. Once again, I'm calling white privilege on this, and you can't talk me down from that because I'm telling you, if that was a black man who shot those 2 people, he wouldn't have made it 1 foot from their body.
No. Well, but
he wouldn't have made it to the next county.
Yeah. I agree that there's white privilege, but the assumption is that there's no other firearms around is kind of, I think that's kind of bold because there's a lot of people out there. There was like hundreds and like thousands of people out that night, and just nobody around that situation had also another firearm. Not one illegally, not one legally.
And if they did, they're not to the 10 adults.
I'd have thought if these shots start getting fired and you see a dude on the ground shooting people, that guy's probably. I don't know. Maybe they shoot him. Maybe the dude at the situation reads the situation differently.
Give me a second. I want to get Caroline in here. She's trying to get in here.
I'm bothered by. I'm not talking specifically to Nick or anybody who's said anything like this. So none of our panelists think I'm like coming for you. But I'm bothered by people on the right who keep saying it was self-defense. It was this. It was that. He did what he had to do. He's a 17-year-old boy. I don't care if it's gun or not. But guess what? If you're gonna own a gun, you have to own a gun legally. And part of owning a gun legally is being licensed to carry that gun. And if you're not licensed to carry that gun, and they have to know what gun. So you can't just get a gun from a friend just because you're like a Mr. Gun license. No, there's no such thing that exists. You have to be licensed and be licensed for for a specific firearm, and you have to be over the age of 18, which he wasn't. So the fact that they're claiming self-defense, if you smash into somebody in traffic, but you don't have a license and registration, even if it's their fucking fault or the person behind you, it's your fault because you are not licensed to be driving that car in the first place. Also, so he was in this state, and so you're telling me he's coming across state lines. Oh, he didn't mean anything. He has the right to protest. Sure, he has the right to protest. We all, as Americans, are given the First Amendment right to peacefully assemble and protest and speak our minds. But what we are not licensed to do or have the right to do is to go across state lines with a weapon simply to cause trouble. And also, people have such a problem with the guy who that he shot in the arm, who survived, who had a gun in his hand. That man was licensed to carry a firearm. He had a license for a concealed carry firearm. And they're like, he's a convicted felon. No, he had been to jail, but he was not a convicted felon. He was legally licensed to own that gun. It is ridiculous that you would defend a 17-year-old who's not legally licensed and then condemn a guy who is legally licensed, who was trying to, who didn't shoot at a man who shot him. I'm dying. I can't handle it.
You don't need a license.
Hold up.
Yeah,
you don't need a license to carry a rifle.
But
yeah, you just don't.
Here's the thing. I want to say this really quick.
The age thing is a real thing.
The age thing's the problem.
Wait, hold up, Callie. Hello, is this working? Because Callie act like it ain't working. Okay, so Callie, I'm just shading you, bro. It's just teasing, dude. When it comes to the situation, there's so many things leading up to him actually pulling that trigger, right? That were wrong. Period. Not only should he have not been there with that, there were so many things leading up to her wrong. What she's saying is it's crazy that the first thing people do is vilify the guy who was doing all the legal shit.
Well, I didn't vilify anybody except until they started attacking the guy.
That's what she said. She specifically said those of the right. She specifically said right, far right. She wasn't specifically talking about anybody in general.
So I'm not saying the other people are guilty of anything or innocent of anything. There's a lot of wrongdoing all over the place. The kid shouldn't. My problem with giving the kid the full brunt of this punishment is I feel bad that he was his mom allowed him to be in a situation where he has to make a choice to take someone's life. Because let's be honest, that kid, when those people were on him, he's 17. We're already saying he can't make rational decisions at 17. Did any of us make rational decisions? No.
I just want to point out, you sign up for the army and go to war at 17.
I want to respond to
he didn't know what was going to happen.
One of the comments in the chat, it says the Second Amendment does not have an age attached. To be president, there is an age attached in the Constitution. So I want to address this really quick. So in the Constitution, there is no age attached to the Second Amendment. However, each state
law is different.
Has a law, and it's still a law. It might not be one that's directly in the Constitution, but there's still a law that he broke. And what's crazy about it is in Wisconsin, they charge 17-year-olds as adults. Yeah. So he was allowed to go to a state where he would not be tried as an adult, and they're holding him there. They're not extraditing him because of Corona. So I just feel like this is just one thing that I think, and I think this is a really deep conversation because there are people who feel like he was a victim. Kyle Rittenhouse. He was a victim of a lot of
bad parenting,
fear, all that stuff like that. But then to me, I do agree that had a part to play in it because somewhere in his head, he thought that he needed a weapon at a protest. That wasn't, in my opinion, wasn't violent.
It's also the news propaganda.
So did the other dude that got shot.
I feel like this.
Both sides had weapons.
That dude has he owned. That's what I'm saying is that guy probably had that same weapon on him last night.
When he woke up and eating his Cheerios, he had that shit strapped to him.
He has a concealed carry weapon. So when you got a concealed carry, that's not the same as let me take my gun to this protest. That's like I always have my gun on me.
But if there's two people with a gun, the situation is automatically escalated.
True.
That's
did Kyle Rittenhouse know? Did Kyle Rittenhouse?
That situation was automatically.
Everyone has a gun in Texas, and our crime rates are significantly lower.
Sure.
I read an article with a guy who got shot in the arm, who had the gun, who everybody has a big problem with. And he was saying that he does have a concealed carry permit, but specifically brought his gun that night because he'd read on Facebook that there was a call to arms on Facebook for some militia groups to show up to quell this group of protesters. And he was like, well, if they're going to be armed, we should be armed. And that's a whole nother discussion topic that we could get into about arming the left versus the right, you know. So, but, you know, yes, he might wake up in the morning with his Cheerios and eat with his, you know, concealed carry gun, and that's his right. But he also specifically brought it that night. He didn't want to have to shoot it. I mean, I don't know his mind, but he said he didn't want to have to shoot it, but he wanted to have it there for protection because he read that other people would be there with weapons.
So couldn't the same theory, couldn't that apply to Kyle? And yes, it is wrong because he was 17.
It's robbery, gun control.
Right, and it's wrong because he's 17, and that's a misdemeanor. And I think he should be charged with that. But everyone should be able to bring a gun to a protest.
So let me ask you a question.
One side can't be right by doing it, and the other side can be wrong.
Yeah, with that logic, I'm never going to a protest.
Wow. Everyone with guns.
I have two questions, Tim. So my first question is, since you feel like he should be charged with a misdemeanor for having the gun.
I mean, that's what it is. That's
what do you feel like? What do you feel like he should be charged with for fleeing the state? What do you think he should be charged with for actually making bullets connect with 3 people? What do you think that should be?
So, in my opinion, I think the first guy that got shot, I don't know. I don't think there is conclusive evidence to say one way or another whether that was in self-defense, whether the man attacked him. I haven't seen any video.
I'll show it to you if you want.
Okay,
it's not good though.
I haven't seen that video of like the man attacking him, so I can't say one way or another whether that was self-defense. However, in the second and the third shooting, those are both clearly in self-defense, in my opinion, and so I don't think she should be charged with that. And on top of that, the state, whether it's Wisconsin or the other state that charged him, they charged him with first degree murder, which isn't going to stick anyways because first degree murder, because that means
he brought the gun. That's premeditated. He brought the gun.
Yeah. Hey, guess what I learned, Tim? I learned this, and then they say that when it comes to first degree murder, intent is a real thing, right? But they say intent can happen in an
instantaneously. Right? Yeah.
When I heard that, I was like, oh. There you go. So basically, if in that moment he said, because this is my thing, when I was trained with a weapon, and I'm not talking about in the military, just a weapon, I was told, hey, this is how you use the weapon. If somebody breaks in the house or something like that, do not shoot them in the head or center mass. You shoot them in their arms or their legs. Do not kill them. That's what I was told immediately. If you shoot them to kill them, that could be murder. If your intention is, I want to kill this guy. Trained. I want to kill. So all you have to do is prove that Kyle Rittenhouse, even in fear, where he could have done something else, went for murder, and that's it.
I have a question though. I have a genuine question for Timmy. Can I just ask my question?
Of course, go ahead.
I talk too much. I tell Dureyea not to bring me on this damn show, but he brings me here, so I have a question. But I hear all the time, like, you know, with people who are gun enthusiasts to people who are like staunchly against guns, they always say, like, you know, the best, like you said, you live in Texas, is that correct?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I've heard people a million times say the best thing to have if you have an active armed shooter is a good guy with a gun. So my question to you is, this man, Kyle Rittenhouse, no, he's not a man, this child, Kyle Rittenhouse, had already shot and they shot it all over, so they figured would soon have killed someone. They see somebody who is an active shooter who then goes walking down the street. So everyone keeps saying self-defense, self-defense. They were hitting him with his skateboards and stuff. Why are they not able to do what the NRA and the right has always said and show up and try to disarm an active shooter instead of being shot themselves and then being vilified for attacking someone with a gun who has just shot and killed someone?
But if you were justified in shooting the person to begin with, then you're
not. It doesn't matter.
An active shooter.
No. Yes, you are. Yes,
Dureyea, so hypothetically, right?
Dureyea, he threw a bag at him. That's what Kyle shot him for. He threw a bag with some like old food in it that didn't even connect.
That's not when he shot him. There's a whole
there's a whole lead up to when he actually shoots him.
There were gunshots. What she's saying is there were gunshots long before he even shot the Rosen dude, whatever his name is. But this is what I'm going to say.
Wait a second, everybody. Wait a second, because I just looked at the clock. So I know we got to get into our main topic. So I want to say this.
Oh, wow.
Let Megan get hers in. Let Megan get hers in.
I think this became the main topic.
No.
Yeah.
Don't do that, Callie. Your camera will get malfunction real quick. Your camera will malfunction. Okay. I do want to keep talking about this because I think the whole topic of perspective is a huge part of what we're doing with a show like this. It's and I don't think we're going to finish this conversation in enough time, but I do want everybody to walk away with this. Us having this conversation. So try to understand all the people who the Tims try to understand the Carolines, and the Carolines try to understand the Tims in your own mind and your thought. And at home, some people agree, some people don't. Like, have a moment just where you do that. Be like, because see how passionate everybody is? It's not for trolling. We're not trolling each other. Like, we actually believe the stuff we're saying. It's what we believe. So try to kind of understand why. Okay.
Well, I asked Timmy my question and you didn't let him finish.
Yeah,
it's because the clock ain't gonna stop. The clock is doing its own thing.
Dureyea, let me answer real quick.
Only if you can answer in 30 seconds.
Okay.
Go.
So Dureyea, you come up to me and I say some mean shit to you, right? And you start beating the shit out of me. And I pull out a gun because I am fearing for my life and I shoot you, right? And all Nick sees is me shoot you. And Nick runs over and starts trying to beat the shit out of me. He didn't see you beating the shit out of me or anything like that. He just saw me shoot you. Okay. And he tries to attack me. Him attacking me when I was defending myself.
Okay.
Isn't that's if I shoot Nick too, that's self-defense. Like, that's what I'm saying. So just
I'm
because
not a lawyer, I'm not a judge. I disagree.
I know, but I'm saying just because somebody shoots somebody doesn't mean that now everybody can attack that person because he shot somebody.
So there's a lot of examples of stuff like this happening in public where there's an active shooter, you're only seeing half of it, and then somebody pulls out an actual concealed weapon and fires back. That to me is I mean, it is what it is. I don't think it's
perspective matters.
But I do think perspective matters. I'm not saying that I'm right. I'm saying I don't think it's self-defense. I think
I
think in his mind, I think when you look for something, you're always going to find it. Always going to find it. When you walk into a situation looking for a problem, guess what?
I agree with that.
I feel like real quick, when you are a child, you don't understand what to look for in a problem, and you will make things that are problems not problems.
Especially when you don't have
it was
Megan
a child
did want
who
to say
should have
something.
been.
I'm gonna let Megan say what she was trying to say, and then we're gonna go to this commercial break and go into our main topic.
It was just about my question. I had a question. Kyle was actively shooting a gun before he killed someone, correct? He was like going around just shooting it for fun. I took active shooters training because I used to be an educator in a school, and a cop told me, like the cop that taught the training class told us that if someone is actively shooting, concealed weapon people are supposed to step in, and that's considered like it falls under the umbrella of self-defense. The thing is that they have to notify authorities that they're a concealed carrier pursuing the active shooter if at all possible. Otherwise, the law enforcement will assume that they are the shooter. That's all. So legally, the person stopping the active shooter is protected, or should be.
Okay.
I think if nothing else, we've just shown that the good guy with a gun argument is a little flawed.
At least a little flawed, absolutely.
At least a little.
And you always have to remember that phone call he made to his best friend. All right. So before we go into our main topic,
get that last word in, Dewey.
Oh, always. You know what I mean?
That's the privilege of being host right there.
I mean, that's the one privilege I have. I'm going to use it. Okay. So a quick commercial break, and then we will come back and we will talk about bro code.
Hey, it's Rittenhouse.
And Dureyea.
Hey, I'm Chris.
It's Jessa.
And Julian.
So have you guys heard about Anchor? If you haven't, it's great. And it's honestly the easiest way to do a podcast. Let us explain. First off, it's free.
And you'll have all the tools you need to record and edit your podcast right from your phone or computer.
And Anchor will even distribute your podcast for you. So as soon as you're finished uploading, you can be heard on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and many other platforms.
And guess what? You can make money off of your podcast with no minimum listenership.
It's basically a one-stop shop for everything you need. So go download the free Anchor app or go to anchor.fm to get started. And make sure you come back and geek out with us.
Great ad read.
Oh, we're not done. Oh, man. Well, that didn't work out. Either way, that's EJ Speaks. That video is so funny to me. She's a comedian, an internet comedian, and you can reach her on Facebook at EJ Speaks. Watch her skits, watch her comedy. It's super funny and super dope. Okay, now let's get into the main topic. Is everybody? You look mad, Tim.
And another thing about cotton. We're not talking about no motherfucking bro code. Let's get back to it.
Right.
White high school sucks.
I was reading Deuce's comment.
Okay, so we're gonna talk about bro code. So this conversation, we were talking about it last time, and I basically said, what was I saying, Georgia? What was the situation we were talking about? Oh yeah, so
stand up for people who stay
right.
shitty.
This
You
is how
got to
I
have
feel
their
about
back
it.
regardless.
Now this was a conversation I had when I was doing a little time. I was locked up, and there was a conversation had where they basically said, "Hey, you're never supposed to correct your mans in front of people." Now the term "your mans" is like your best friend. You could be a girl, and your other female friend could be your man's. Whatever. It's like your best friend. And so I feel like that's one of the most important rules. Like you absolutely never correct your friend in public. You take them to the side afterward, and then you let it, hey, yo, you were really wrong. But in the moment, if they argue with somebody, if you don't agree, you just stand there and nod your head. You don't have to vocalize, but you definitely agree. So that made me think, how about we get a definitive list?
Wait a minute. Wait. When I said that I wanted to stand there and just nod my head and look away, you said I was wrong.
No. Because you said you were shaking. You said you were shaking your head.
I can
You
just
shake your head. That's not correction.
I can just do one of these like, oh Lord, I can't believe they're talking about this. And then I said, can I excuse myself for some alcohol? And you said no.
Can't do that. Because that's subtextually, you are telling everybody that you don't agree with your friend.
No, I'm telling everybody to shut.
No.
I don't want to deal with y'all.
That's not what you do. If your friend is in the midst of a heated debate, you will stand there and with your arms crossed. If you feel like not shaking, that's fine. But you will not leave. You will definitely not correct them in front of people. And so this got me thinking, okay, how about we find a list? Well, I want to find a list of what our bro code do's and don'ts. So before we go to the actual list, I kind of start with that one. What do you do in a bar fight? What do you do if your bestie is about to get into an ish situation? Do you A, try to pull them away from the bar fight? B, get some Vaseline and tie up your hair for the ladies, and I guess the men too.
Mine's already up in this poof for a reason.
C, do you try to de-escalate the situation passively, like Georgia said? Which one do you do?
All the above.
How?
Look, I'm gonna try to be like, you know what? We here to drink. Let's chill out, y'all. And they want to keep at it. All right, let me go ahead and pull this hair back in case someone's gonna throw a damn beer bottle. And then it's like, all right, man, cut the shit out. We trying to drink and have fun. It's a de-escalation situation.
The entire list is de-escalation.
You got to use the escalation of force protocol.
Which is what?
It depends on the situation.
That's what I told Dureyea. It depends on the person.
Georgia described it perfectly.
It depends on the situation.
You start
okay,
small.
if it's my husband, okay, I know I gotta stand there like, man, okay, yeah. But when we get in that car, you dumb, what the hell? You almost got us into some shit. Okay, I get that, but I have plenty of not plenty, but my close friends. Like, if we're talking and I'm wrong, don't have me sitting there looking stupid. Number one, I mean, if we're having a conversation, number one, I'm not gonna put myself in that position where I'm in this hot. A situation could be hostile because we don't agree, or I might want to go get a shot. And Dury's like, nah, bitch, come back. You used to be here by my side. We're not gonna get into that. We're not doing that.
Oh, you don't want it to be me. It can't. Don't be me. Don't leave me when I'm arguing with somebody.
I'm pretty sure this poof would be Yates, and I'll be back over here like that.
Well, this is the thing. I think that's the question.
Bro,
why are you
arguing?
There's two different types of arguments. Okay, so if this is like an argument like you just ran into the dude who was smashing your girl, that's one type of argument. No question what that's about to be.
That's an argument.
All smoke. ain't no words. All smoke.
Yeah, ain't no argument
I'm
there.
gonna just turn away and drink sadly is what I'm gonna do.
It also matters if I know how well this person fights, and if I know they can if they can't handle it, I'm gonna.
Right.
No.
Exactly.
Yeah, no, I think that's
a valid
that's
point,
appropriate,
though.
Caroline.
That's a valid point.
I mean, if I'm like, this person's got it, I'm also not going to be beating up on females. I'm not going to let my guy friend beat up on a female or something like that. But like, Dureyea, I was actually in the room one time when you busted into somebody's room, and this is back in college days. And
I know exactly what you're talking about, but I wasn't trying to fight him.
Oh, you were gonna.
Caroline, Dureyea, step out, Dureyea.
Mm-hmm. Dureyea comes busting in the room. Me and this person are just watching TV, and Dureyea comes busting. And he's been outside the door, really working himself up, like
it's a Meisner activity.
Yeah, and so he comes in the door, and he is fully loaded, and he's like, "You son of a bitch! You and I was just like, so that was about de-escalation because
What's sad is Caroline is literally the only person who's ever seen me like that besides the person. That's the only time I've ever done anything like that.
I had to hold him as he wept because we did eventually de-escalate, and he was weeping on the ground. But yeah, that in that moment, I'm not gonna to be a friend to Dureyea.
I can't stand that you just brought that up on live internet. I just had that moment where I realized this hoe just really put me on blast.
But
hey, she just called out. She just said you're wrong in front of the world.
Okay, but listen, but that's my point. To be a good friend to you in that moment, it would not have helped if I started screaming at that guy too. What would help you as a friend in that moment is for you to realize, I think, you were really up in your feelings and that your feelings are valid and that I'm here with you. But what we needed to do in that moment is just to like bring it down a little bit. And I'm not claiming to be innocent because I busted in on plenty of guys screaming and crying. But in that moment, that was you.
I feel like, go ahead, Adam.
No, Dureyea, she just told this whole story about you. You have to say something.
In that situation, it was a little bit more involved because this person that she's talking about was a person I was involved with. Mm-hmm. So it was, and I was drunk as shit.
He was wasted.
That's one of the drunkest times I've ever been. Yeah. And I had never been in a situation like that, and I felt like I was being like taken advantage of. But
I didn't want to call you out for being drunk because I don't know if your mama watches this.
Oh, my mama has seen me. The only time I've ever been blackout drunk, it was at my mama's house.
Oh, okay.
She said, look, side note, she was like, what was going on with you last night? I said, what you talking about? She said, you was on the bathroom floor talking. I said, to who? She said, to me. And I said, no, I wasn't. She said, yes, you were. And I was like, mama, I was at the bar and I came home and went to sleep. She said, all right. Anyway, my mama knows I drink. But my point is this, like, I feel like in a situation like that, it's different. I'm talking about when you're dealing with what people call the ops, okay? That was a different situation. My heart.
Okay, give us a situation.
Okay, so we at the club. I gave you a situation where we're gonna fight. So we at the club and we playing. Ooh,
we're at the Claremont Lounge.
It's like I don't plan on fighting in there. I plan on having fun in there. But okay,
look, it's not one of them clubs. It's one of them like chill, lay back, and play cards type of clubs.
The Cheetahs,
right? And we playing spades. And I say, oh, you can't play spades before spades cut. And the other dude's like, yes, you can. My best friend better say, yep.
Dude, you talking about spades.
My point is,
but you're right though.
But honestly, you know how many fights I've seen happen over literally that rule?
I've seen.
You gotta break spades. You gotta make Trump. That's the whole thing.
Hey, I'm sorry. I'm calling my boy out on that. If he's wrong, I'm gonna be like, yo,
no, I'm ride or die. You're ride or die.
If it's something like that though, where it's black and white.
No, that's not.
I'm kind of agreeing with Timmy D.
That's black and white. Like everybody that plays spades. Everybody that plays spades.
I don't care if my boy walks in there. Like, I gotta sacrifice a goat before we play spades. I'm all about it. Get the knife.
Okay, let me pause. Let me pause. So we're being clear. The spades rules needs to be its own talk show because everybody disagrees.
Big true.
But
that is wrong.
It isn't necessarily about the rule. My point is, all right, I'm in a situation. My partner, who's also my best friend, just said, you can't play spades before spades cut. And I'm thinking in my head, well, we already set the rules, and the rules said that we can. However, I'm not about to leave my mans out. You know what I'm saying? So we can't do it. That's how a good friend. That's bestie code. That's bro code. You go with your friend.
I don't know.
And then later on, and then later on, you be like, hey, bro. Later on, you be like, hey, bro, you know we weren't supposed to do that, right? Oh, okay.
Yeah, you'd be like, hey, yeah, I know.
Did you hear what Nick said though?
No,
yeah. I said, so look, so you say that shit, and I'm like, that ain't the rule, but like my boy, like, I don't care if you walk in there and you're like, yo, we gotta sacrifice a goat, dog. I'm like, all right, man, like, where's Machete at? Like, hey, we gotta do that before we play spades. Like, whatever you say, man, like, that's my boy. Because I know if I don't back you up now and I go back in the club and I do some dumbass shit, I need you to back me up. I need to cash in them brownie points with the bro, or I'm
Bro code is that, like, you always, to me, that's the one. Always have your brother's back in public.
Yep.
Are we playing randoms? Like, are we playing people we don't know?
List. I'm gonna go through the list, but I
ain't never playing spades with nobody but my partner.
There are rules for a reason.
I think
you're talking about a
Spades
code.
wasn't a good
with
example, Dureyea, because now we're just talking about spades.
Hey, that might be the ultimate bro code game.
But I think I think what the bro code should state in its mission statement should be, I'm going to hold my buddy Jason to the highest standard that I know he wants to be held to.
Oh God.
Now, wait. If he chooses to go against me and get in a bar fight over some bullshit, part of bro code is I'm going to fight with him because I've chosen to attach myself to this man. I don't think that you're wrong for calling Jason out for being an asshole, if he ever is. I don't know this man. But if he's if he comes up to some guy and he's drunk and he's being the agitator, I'm going to de-escalate. I'm going to say, Jason, you're doing too much.
Okay.
You need to chill out.
Okay.
And if the guy comes at Jason, then I'm just like, I have to take out my earrings. I have to unbutton down to my third button, and I have to get ready.
Bro, shirt comes off. Shirt just comes off all together.
I have to ashamed of my body.
There's no turning back once the shirt is off.
Yeah.
Why do you think I carry Vaseline around with me? I am always ready to fight somebody, but
put it on your eyebrows. I think the bro code should be holding your buddy to the best version of themselves, man or woman. And if that fails, you have them at their lowest point too. And sometimes that's fighting. Sometimes that's holding their head while they cry. Sometimes that's wiping their throw up off your own floor. You know, I think
off my Gucci.
But I feel like Adam is specifically talking in code to me because he's had to stop a bunch of fights that I've tried to get into, and he's had to chase me down. Adam and I have been besties for a long time. He's had to chase me down streets. He's had to collect me into a cab. He's had to do all kinds of things. So I can vouch for Adam. He does try to de-escalate, but he will get the job done.
But you should also be like, Caroline, you shouldn't be running down the street right now.
Yes, and I need somebody to tell me because in that moment I'm running down.
You shouldn't ride the Clark and Division Red Line barefoot.
Okay, one time I did that.
Can we go back to the spades?
Here we go. Wait,
yeah.
We're gonna go back into the list. Spades. We'll talk about spades one day because honestly, first of all, not to be racist, I can't. But
they don't understand like we understand. That's what you're trying to say. It's a whole different thing.
No, I didn't know that this many white people played spades.
I didn't either. Wait a minute. They all know what we play. I was shocked.
Honestly, I'm too scared to play.
I made a spade post the other day, and all these white people was commenting. I looked at myself.
I have never in my life played spades with a white person.
But they know how to play.
So why weren't they playing when they were in high school?
Well,
you didn't know me in high school then.
For real, I didn't.
Let me tell you how I know. This is why white people know how to play spades because they love money. Okay. And that's a good way to
that's true.
It is
true.
Don't we all love money?
Who doesn't love money?
Get in there, Megan.
No, Megan, that's a white
thing. Anti-Semitic thing. People love money.
Is it money that you love, or is it what comes along with the money?
Both.
See, if you love both,
capitalism.
Well, am I just a white man on the inside? Because I love money and power, not over than my kids and things that matter. But maybe there's a little white man inside of my soul somewhere because
a leprechaun.
I like my funds, and I'll take all power I can get. Excuse me, what, Dureyea?
You said a little white man who likes money, a leprechaun. Okay.
No, you know what? Because I'm short. Did you really do me that?
Hey man, I ain't no
a
leprechaun, dog.
5'1". I know.
Alrighty, guys. So
hey, that's heightism.
Our next phase, the questionnaire. This is courtesy of I'm going to say this right. Quora.com, Quora.
QAnon.
Yeah, Quora.
We are not associated with at
That's
all.
a whole 3-hour live show right there, but
Whole
okay.
3 hour. Okay, so the number one rule, according to this website, is, can anybody guess?
Don't mess
Rose
with
before
your
hose.
Rose
What'd you
before
say?
hose.
What'd you say, Callie?
I didn't say anything.
You said
Who
bros
said
before hose? Who said bros before
I
hose?
thought
I
it,
said
I was.
it.
I thought that's what
I
he
said
said.
bros
Yeah.
before hose.
Jason,
I mean,
yes,
when I
that
told my
is
daughter
what-
what the topic was, the first thing she said, bros before hoes.
Yeah,
I'm
that's
like,
the
That's
number
what I
one
thought.
rule.
I thought that's just the bro code is just bros before hose.
I
and
didn't
we're
know
gonna
there
be
was a
talking
list
for
of these
an
things.
hour
I didn't know there was
Are
a
about
you
list.
serious?
Yeah.
Just try
I
to
thought it was
apply it
this
to
one.
like all situations.
Yeah, I thought that was just like a golden bro code that
Bros
applies
don't wear
across everything.
turtlenecks.
Okay, hey, listen, stop, Tim, quit it. Quit it.
Leave my carpet
Okay.
alone.
So, number one rule is bros before hoes. Now, I want to ask a question. Does this apply to both men and women? So, for women,
Bros before bros.
I don't know. Does
I don't
it?
know what the equivalent
Well,
with that rhymes, but
There's-
for
let
doesn't need to be
me answer
gender.
for these girls here.
So
I
I
wanna
want
hear what
man
Adam has
inside
to
of me, and
say.
you have a little woman inside of you. Okay, we're
I do have a little
knocking the
woman-
people out.
I am, yes, she's inside me.
Did you just assume my gender?
don't do that. So,
I said
George
inside.
Caroline and Megan, what do you think? Does this also apply to women?
I'm a woman.
In the, I mean, in the sense, like, I dated someone and you shouldn't mess with them type way, you know.
The idea that you won't sell out your friends for someone you're with. I think that
Yeah.
People have-
Looking at
people have
you,
to tell
Michael.
people Once you're in a relationship, you like don't hang out with your friends anymore, and like so it's supposed to be bros before hoes. I do think it's. I mean, I'm a married woman, so it's different. That's not my hoe. That's my husband.
right,
So,
right.
Oh Lord.
Well, so I think the post actually clarifies. It says hose is a unmarried or unfamily or non-family member. So like it excluded husband, wife, and family members.
So what? That doesn't make sense then. Like
Like your
Then it's
husband
not
and your
pertaining
wife
to
is
my
not a hoe.
relationship.
Be your hoe. Your husband
Yeah.
can't be a hoe. But your boyfriend.
It's your people.
I wish my husband
against
would
the
try to
other
put a hoe before me. They both gonna be underground. That's why that rule does not apply.
That's not what we're saying. We're saying that term it involves anyone that's not family by marriage or blood.
Got it. I mean,
So-
and then who does it apply to? Like
Your
like.
boyfriend, the
But I
new
don't
man
have a
you're
boyfriend,
dating.
so therefore,
Who's
like my best
asking?
friend still has her place in my life.
It's-
Like my
We're
best
talking
friend.
about bro code in general.
But you put your husband before your hoe.
Would I put
bro
my,
code is
do
like
I
kid
put my
stuff.
husband before my childhood best friend? If my child, it would depend on who's wrong. Like if
Bros
Chad-
But in that sense, bros
even
before hoes is in marriage.
no.
Because you
So
put your
he's my
husband
bro
and wife
and my
before
hoe.
everything,
Okay,
right?
well,
he's my hoe and my bro.
Listen. Yes, I'm gonna rephrase this. So I'm asking you, ladies, in general. I'm not asking for your personal.
tonight.
I'm not asking for your personal takes.
My
on-
perspective, what you asked me to be on
Yeah,
this show
so
for, my
basically,
personal
do you
perspective.
think with girls, when it comes to female friends, do you think that the rule is the same, that it has to be hoes before bros or bros before hoes? Do you think it's the same?
Can you ask Timmy to mute his laughter? Thank you. This is
I'll mute
serious.
it for him. It's muted. Go ahead.
Well, I mean, my boyfriend is different than my husband.
Amen.
Oh, Caroline.
That'll be.
Just kidding. No, I mean,
Twist.
I get what all this is about. Like, I'm not trying to be like intentionally obtuse. Obviously, your friends are very important. The friends that you had before these relationships are very important. Like I discussed earlier, Adam is a friend from way back in freshman year of college, and I have known my husband a lot less time when we were just dating. Obviously, Adam, I prioritize Adam and my boyfriend on like the same level, but now that he is my husband, obviously there are times where I have to
Oh shit.
defer to that relationship.
Damn.
Yeah, Adam, this is actually a conversation that I want to
Wow.
have where we don't speak anymore.
Hey Tim.
No, get on the phone with him. Maybe hang up.
Okay.
Bro,
So,
that's golden.
The next question, and I like this one. A bro or bestie is always allowed to do something stupid as long as his bros are doing it.
Yep.
Yes.
Yep,
That's
100%.
another way to get you on that skill.
I agree.
But
I
okay.
agree.
Who are they beholden to in that situation?
It's absolutely a rule.
So
not in a court of law. What are you talking about? Ever?
Yeah. That's how you get. If it's like, why did you do this? Oh, because my bros were doing it. Acquit it.
Nope.
Quit it.
That's a real thing.
Once
Hey,
again,
that
that's another way to get your ass whooped.
The Nazi trials. That was actually a real thing. They were like,
yeah,
hey, I was
The
just doing
Nuremberg
what I was
trials,
told,
yeah.
and everybody, yeah,
That's true.
It didn't
He's
work.
right, but
That
he's
wasn't
also
the
shouldn't have said it.
What do you mean? I'm so
That wasn't the defense.
because I really feel like you have to justify that quickly.
The Nuremberg trial. They said we were following orders and we were doing what everyone else was instructed to do. Like everybody was doing it, and they were like, well, you still should have known better, but we understand what you're saying. And a lot of them got lesser sentences.
Really? I did not know.
Well, the lesser,
My husband or boyfriend will not be getting a lesser sentence. So the Nazi bro code does not apply.
Well,
I
meant the Nuremberg trials, not the Nazi trials.
Y'all, if anybody Georgia knows goes missing, check under her backyard. Like,
yeah, she's got like
I
the
have 2
bird
dogs.
going on back
Bodies
there,
walk,
dude.
they
Like,
buried in my backyard. I have 2 dogs. They'll find them.
Hey, but if me and Dureyea and Nick are out, and Nick's like, "Yo, let's jump off the bridge," and then Dureyea is like, "Bet, let's jump off the bridge."
I'm like,
if I jump off the bridge too, like I'm not extra retarded. I was doing what my boys were doing.
all right, I got a real life example. I got a real life example. So
I
actually,
need a real life one.
So I went to go see my best friends. All live in LA. Okay, I went to go visit them. Now I don't know. I don't remember what the place was called. It was like a bar on a roof, and like we had to take like an elevator up, and then there was like a special elevator we had to go. Oh yeah, don't worry about how much I had to spend to fucking drink up there. It was stupid. Well, on our way down, we got split. So some of the group took one elevator because they couldn't fit like everybody, and the other group, me, took the second elevator. On our way down, we're like on like the 23rd floor or something, and I go, "Hey, let's all jump on 3."
No.
And the bros were like,
terrible idea.
Nah. And I was like, all right, 1. And I said 3, and I jumped. What did they all do? What all the bros do?
They jumped.
We jumped. Guess what happened?
What?
We were stuck up in that motherfucking elevator for like an hour.
Yeah.
Yep. It was
But
just
now
stuck
y'all
right
have
in the middle of the
story though. Now
yeah, see, that's just my point. If bros do dumb shit together, and you tell that story for life.
See, now you're teetering on the fact that this is why women live longer than men because we don't do stupid shit like that. Like that kind of
maybe. I don't
No,
know.
that's a
Man, y'all
real
got
thing.
bros that's just not called bros, like
girls
sis
don't
or
do stuff
something.
like
I don't
that.
know.
Girls absolutely will be like hanging out, freaking doing something. One will get a crazy idea and be like, "Oh my god, we should do this," and y'all will totally go do it. Don't ask.
That's true.
Yeah, but men just do like the dumb shit
ours
they
is
do
like
is just more
dangerous,
like
stupid
it's just more
stuff, like,
dangerous.
Ooh,
Yeah.
let
Me
me
and
get my
Georgia are like-
motorcycle and make a slope in my backyard and try
Yeah.
to run up it. And now my husband didn't call me. I didn't broke a clavicle and my sternum is crooked. Like, now you can't go to work. Who gonna pay these damn bills? Because your ass in the backyard being stupid.
Well,
Women
hey.
don't do stuff like that.
All right.
Somebody
Listen.
ass.
Okay, so we're gonna move to the next one. The next one on the list, I'm picking random right at this point because there's 127 and they're really interesting. So we're gonna keep going. This next one says, "A bro shall not gaze at a naked bro."
That's
Like,
the dumbest
naked,
shit.
naked?
What if the bro's like, "Hey, check me out"?
No.
What if the bro's
All right,
hot?
no.
Hey, that's true. No, that's
All right, I'm
true.
stepping out of this one. I'm putting my mic on mute. I can't talk.
No,
about this.
listen,
don't know
because I
nothing
actually
about
want to
it.
know because I feel like girls. I feel like this is different for girls than it is for guys, and so I want to know.
Okay, you have the traditional sense of this, and you have the modern sense of this. So, like, I know, like, me and my nieces are my age. So my nieces and I, we all used to hang out together. We had a jacuzzi in the house in the country, and we would all just hop in a jacuzzi, have fun, okay, whatever. My friend can walk around me butt naked. I don't care. That doesn't really apply to a lot of women, but I know for a lot of heterosexual men, that doesn't fly. But there are, I can't speak for all of them, but I'm speaking for my guy friends. Unless they're running a train or having an orgy, they don't want to see another man's penis.
She went deep.
I concur.
Well,
what's
yes.
the difference?
No, so hold on here.
And I
Go
say
ahead.
in the traditional sense because
Well,
a lot
it's
of my
true
people in my
because-
circle have traditional views on certain things, not radical, but like we talked about one time, what we talk about energy, feminine and masculine energy. I said I kind of lean to the traditional roles of a woman, so that's why I'm saying traditionally. That's how I believe it's looked upon. I can't speak with modern times.
Yeah.
Okay. So our next one is.
I had a lot for that.
Yeah, a lot of people.
I didn't realize
Jason, we got Nick.
Other people's opinions matter too.
Yeah, you love Georgia. You're going to
I'm not talking about bros.
I love all my family
this whole time.
I lived my life as a bro.
I'm sorry. Okay, go, Cowley. You can go. Nick.
Yeah, I was on deployment, and we had one set of showers. Okay, and there was a very like unspoken rule in the bro code. Hey, we're gonna end up having to be naked in there. Okay, don't look. If you look, that all right. If you're gonna like hit on me, like, cause it's cool if you're gay, but like you gotta come correct. You're not gonna walk up to a woman as a straight dude and be like, "Hey, let me see you naked real quick." Like,
you'd be surprised, but okay.
Well, all right, you're not supposed to. It's not like it's frowned upon. Okay, I guess whatever. Like, that's the same thing, right? Like, don't comment on my naked body. Don't look at it. Like, it's just like pretend it just isn't around. Like, is the bros.
But Nick, I think that's a great point because I think in the end it's about respect, right? Like,
yeah.
So if I'm with Dureyea and he's like, I'm going to be naked for a while, and I'm like, oh,
that's just disrespectful.
Yeah, that's disrespectful.
Yeah,
it's disrespectful.
Like,
it's pervy. Cool, so if Dureyea trusts me enough to be naked in front of me, I should give him the same respect to not be perverted about it.
The bro code makes it sound stupid, but there is like a logic behind it. There is like
but
some
the way
kind
they
of
say
respect, like tree for it.
I don't know, but the way the bro code said it made it sound homophobic and weird.
Yeah, the bro.
You're right, Nick.
It's about boundaries, but I see how you can take that homophobic and weird thing away from that.
And that is why I said traditionally I didn't even think of it in a homophobic way. But people who don't have those like a strong, not saying that you do or you don't, but I automatically looked at it like that, like how I grew up and things of that nature. Okay. But I could definitely see my more modern friends with more modern traditions going all different directions, and that's neither right nor wrong. So you can read that in two completely different ways, just depending on how you feel about the situation.
But it's like sex aside, just don't stare at your friends.
Yeah, like
some people don't even want to
like
when they know there's another penis in the room. They're like, look, dude. I mean, some people think everybody's different, and that's the point here. Like now, everybody's just different.
Caroline, what are you saying? Sorry.
I was saying that I'm like the liberal panelist, the modern one, the LGBTQ PIA ally, whatever.
Hey, I'm an ally.
Okay, nice. Good for you, bro. I think it also stands for asexual, but we'll talk later.
Never mind.
But I was just gonna say, like, when you first read it, also bro code has me on edge right now, just because
me too.
Bro code, and I feel icky already. So when you first read it, I'm hearing internalized homophobia, internalized like misogyny, whatever. But like when I'm hearing people explain it, I'm like, well, that does make sense, especially if you've talked about it beforehand. You said you were in the army and like you all were like, hey, let's just have a code where nobody looks. My husband used to go to summer camp. He used to talk about how he wouldn't shower for a week because it was just this huge open shower. And he's like, I didn't want anybody looking at me. And I was like, I get that, being like self-conscious or, not wanting, you're more modest or something. But like, I don't like when it's like, bro code says not to stare at my dick. And then I just think that's like a little.
It's definitely not phrased in a way that it means.
It's a tough phrase.
A lot of these, like bros before like it's all unnecessarily like gendered for no reason. We're just
it's toxic masculinity.
It's like best before rest rather than bros before hoe. Like why do we gotta
I just really thought it was just like don't put girls before you guys.
The thing about it is when I pick this topic, I say bro code because bro code is everybody has heard that phrase, right? But I really do mean it in essence about friends in general, because I feel like there's I feel like when you have a friend, that relationship is really sacred to me because your friends are family members that you picked. They're not assigned to you. So that bond should be, in my opinion, very deep. Because I don't have to be around you. I'm choosing because I like you so much. This is automatic respect thing. And I think we're kind of touching on that with the idea of like, it depends on the boundaries. Like, cause me, I don't want to see a lot of my friends naked, but I'm not going to make them feel like bad about it. If they are naked, I'm not going to make them feel bad about me being naked. Like, but I will say this in dormitory situations, cause it's always crazy. Cause when I was in the military, like I was closeted, And so, like, I say that because it's more like
No, you weren't. No, you weren't. Everybody knows.
Bro, no, let me tell you. Okay, don't do that. Let me tell you how I know when I was with Tim, because I literally stood next to some people who were throwing the F-bomb around like hard, 2 feet away from me. So I was like, I don't. But then when they actually found out, they apologized. So I don't think everybody do. Anyway, my point is, I wasn't really out about it, but I was definitely in situations around a lot of like fit, very attractive men who were naked. And I mean, I didn't stare at them because that's just weird to do. So I don't feel like it doesn't have to be a bro thing. I think it's a respect and boundaries thing.
Yeah. Y'all ever seen the movie Starship Troopers?
Yes. Yeah. That's a good point.
Best movie ever.
They took a shower and everybody was together.
Everyone's together. Everyone's fucking hot as hell. Everyone's ripped. Everyone's just banging. And Casper Van Dien, everybody. Man, women, doesn't matter. And everyone's just like, oh, you're a fucking idiot. You're like, everyone's being chummy and no one's like, oh my God, can't wait to get in that late. Like, it's all like, and I think there's a point if you're with your friends, if you're with your whoever, you're the people, your chosen family, like you can be in a shower naked and not, I mean, just on lines of respect, not stare at someone's D, P, B's, whatever.
The whole alphabet. Don't stare at people's alphabet.
Okay, I want to definitely.
I got like a no zone.
I want to move to a few
like showing off their balls.
Okay. So the next question is the next rule on the list that I'm going to highlight.
Okay.
A bro will not sleep with another bro's sister. However, a bro is allowed to be vocal about her level of attractiveness. Yes or no?
Partially true.
One of my best friends growing up made out with my sister while we were in high school. He was literally behind me while I was playing a video game, and I did not find out until 2 years later.
What game was it?
It was Command and Conquer, ironically.
Yes.
Yeah.
You're pretty focused on that game.
He was conquering.
Saturn.
You got some good soundtrack in.
Wait, so this is my thing about it. So then when you found out he was making out with your sister, this is why I'm confused. I know my friends, right? And I think there's friends that I have that I'm like, as my brothers and sisters, like, I don't know. Let me stay away from that. But I'll say this. Generally, not being my siblings, not because they're my siblings, because they're crazy. I wouldn't mind one of my friends dating my sibling because I know that my friends would take care of my siblings. My siblings taking care of my friends is a different goddamn subject, but we ain't gonna talk about that on TV. But I think
it's a matter of like, I think it's just a matter of like, don't be friends with people that are trash, and then you'll be fine. Like,
that's what I was gonna say.
Yeah, like if you're friends with good people and they date people you know or are related to, then you're like, okay, I know they're a good person. And if it doesn't, like, you can be worried about it like not working out and then like causing maybe some animosity, but like ultimately you know they're not gonna hurt your sibling or vice versa. Like, you know, people can't.
But doesn't all that come from like?
But like, I'm
sorry, Megan, go ahead. I apologize. I think there was a lag.
No, I was done.
Oh, well, I think there's a deep fear in any bro code. There's a fear that the friendship's going to be ruined, right?
Yes,
so
absolutely.
So like, if you date my sister, if Caroline makes out with my sister or whatever, and it's, and I say, and I'm like, oh, this is really fun, but don't like, because I know there's going to be if it fucks up, everything's done. Like, there's going to be awkwardness for me. And I think we try to avoid that. We want to separate it. Yeah, for you too. They share the same birthday.
Yeah, we do.
But you try to separate that. You try to separate family and friends, I think, in that aspect. Anyway.
Well, they say you don't shit where you eat.
Yeah, unless you like shit.
Yeah. Oh.
But some people do. This is why we got a lot of tea to
Yeah, people love shit. I thought 2 girls, 1 cup.
Oh,
come on, man.
Adam, they're recording this.
I'm sorry, I just saw it yesterday for the first
time.
I saw that thing in high school.
Nobody believes that, right?
I haven't seen it though.
No way.
I don't plan on.
You had to seen it. You were North.
Let me tell you my story real quick before I ask you the next one. How about I know I didn't see it. So I was in the dorms, right? And so my friends were sitting behind a computer. One was in front of the computer sitting. The other two were standing up and they were staring at the screen. I'm looking at the three of them, right? And then all of a sudden I see all of their faces do this. And I was like, oh no. And then they started moving. I was like, I'll never watch that video. So
you never did?
No, dude, I saw their faces. I've
never watched it either. Somebody described it to me, and I was like, I never want to see that.
It was their faces, dude.
It's chocolate soft serve, guys.
No,
I think it's fake.
I do too, actually.
No. That is a legit fetish. That is a real fetish.
Oh, I'm not saying it's not a fetish.
It's a real fetish. It's a fake video.
Yeah.
Bro code, Dureyea.
Next time.
If a bro
Dureyea, put the link in the comments.
Where? No, so everybody can read them. No, that's what Ken is doing. Look,
that's on YouTube, right?
What is?
2 Girls in a Cup.
2 Girls, 1 cup.
I think that's the link he was talking about posting.
That was absolutely the link he was talking about.
Alrighty, guys, let's reel it in. I know. I will put you on mute, Adam. I heard you. Anyway, listen. Okay, so the next one is when a bro. Where are you? When a bro asks another bro to keep a secret, he shall take that secret to his grave.
What's the secret?
Yeah.
I feel about it. First of all, I feel like yes. Yes, I feel like yes, period. And this is why I say that. Say, for instance, me and Georgia are friends, right? And she told me something very personal and vice versa. And then for whatever reason, we're not friends no more. I'm never telling that secret. And some people will, at that point, just, and that's.
Oh, yeah, they'll just throw all your shit out there in spite of you. Oh, I would never do that.
That's the worst.
That's like I feel like that's like 99% true.
As far as
she's
what?
Oh, she's poor. She stole.
Yeah, like, like 90% of the time.
There's a difference between talking shit about a friend after y'all are friends and telling a secret that they specifically asked you not to tell.
Yeah, but like, okay, so what if me and you were friends, right, Dureyea? Mm-hmm. But then I have another friend, and you're like, yo, I cheated on my girlfriend with homeboy's girl or something. Like some secrets, like.
Oh, you mean
that's like a subsection? That's a subsection of the bro code. You can't. That doesn't count.
Let's ask that question to the group. Okay.
I think you should hold that to a therapist standard. And I think it's true.
Yeah.
So
I agree with Adam on this one.
Yeah.
What are you telling me?
Yeah.
Will it physically hurt someone else? Will it hurt you? So if Megan is like, I cheated on my husband, right?
Megan.
Yeah, thank you, Megan. Please. I don't, and that's not fair. For one, she's not my bro if she puts that on me.
We shouldn't put that on anybody when you're married.
Yeah, exactly. And Megan, she wouldn't do this. She's not that kind of person. But I'm just saying, like, that's unfair as a bro. And if your bro does that, I don't think they're your bro anymore.
Also, what if your bro tells you a secret that directly affects another bro?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
That's what I said.
It's 99% true. Like 99% of the time.
Hold it to therapist standards. If it's something that's going to hurt you or another person, then you should tell somebody to make sure that this person doesn't get hurt.
Bro code legally.
Or they don't hurt themselves. Like that's just common sense.
But what if you have a second bro and he finds out that you knew and you didn't tell him?
The scary part.
Then that's why you tell.
This is how I feel about that. I want to respond to that one. So okay, this is like this. So if I'm in a situation and two of my, it's like a three-way friendship, right?
Name them. Who are the friends? It's me, it's EJ, and who?
Okay, so say for instance, me, you, and EJ, right? Okay, so it's me, you, and EJ, and then EJ tells me that he slept with your husband, right?
What?
I know.
Him.
Salacious. And he tells me that. So I'm gonna say to EJ, you better tell her.
Yes.
Why?
Right?
Because that's not fair to me. And I feel like he's a bad friend for making me hold that secret.
He's a terrible friend for multiple reasons.
What if he's in public?
Yeah, that's double bad friend.
You would disagree with him in public?
No. Oh. Ooh.
See, no, that's not fair. You can't put a bro in a situation like that.
You just found the bro loophole, the whole bro loophole that brings us back to the very beginning.
Broception.
Because they can't handle it.
This is bro matrix, bro inception.
This is how I feel about it, though. I feel like in that situation, the person, the bro who's asking you to keep that secret violates the bro code by asking you to keep that secret. So therefore, you are not held. But I would still keep this. I don't know what I would do, honestly.
I would do this.
I have a lot of my friends. That's not fair.
Okay, like this. That's okay. You should never put anybody in that position. Number one, that's just low. But okay, let's say my best friend. Okay, so let's say I'm close to these two people, equally very close to these two people.
Okay,
and she's like, you know what? I cheated on my husband with your friend John. Oh, so I'm just fucked always. So here's what I'm gonna do. Since you wanted to put me in the impossible situation because I empathize with people, I actually feel for people, this is gonna pique my anxiety and I don't want this on my chest. So since you wanted to tell me this, I'm gonna give you until 3 days to tell your husband that you're cheating. And if you don't tell him, I will, because it's unfair for you to put me in the middle of your bullshit. I ain't asked for that. Just like we ain't asked to be put here on this earth. I ain't asked to be put in your marital problems. And that's tacky.
Keep going.
Okay, so one more before
you get an ultimatum is what you get.
So we got one more, and I want to do this one really quickly before we go into our final thoughts. So our last bro rule, and if you want more of this, go to quora.com, type in bro code rules, and you can find the whole list. It's really fun. This is definitely a party game. It could be a party game. It's a lot of fun. Okay, so the last one I want to say is we're going to tweak it a little bit to fit both genders, but it says a bro shall never engage with any sexual activity with a girl bro. Is it okay to cross the line with a bro?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Well, as long as there's consent. Yeah.
Yeah, consent. But I would say no.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm no
This
there.
was the last one?
No, yeah.
I'm no there.
Look,
I was expecting something
Yeah,
good.
or tough.
This
I
one
mean, I'm
sucks.
definitely gonna do what I want to do, especially back when I was single.
Okay, y'all want a tougher one? Fine.
You ain't bro no more then.
Oh, I'll be your bro. I'll be your hoe. I'll be,
She said I'll be your bro.
Bros get excommunicated for a lot less.
Right. The problem is that like after they break up, if they break up, then one of them is
now all
bro.
the bros they got to deal with all that shit. Yeah.
Yeah. There's a bro.
Women are a lot more equipped to handle that type of situation. Men aren't. You guys can't handle those type of emotions.
You're right, and that'll ruin the rest of all the bros' time.
But if I never hooked up with a bro, I wouldn't be married today. Like, a lot of people want to be friends with their partner first.
That's true because people are just marrying people instead of if I were to ever get remarried, and somebody got to be amazing, okay?
Right.
This time, I promised myself I will marry my best friend.
Yes.
Okay, here's the last one. Here's the last one. And I found a good one because to me, I always have an issue with this.
The turtleneck.
No. If you catch your bro's partner cheating, you immediately tell your bro, regardless of any shitstorm that may arise. Yay or nay?
Yes.
Ultimatum.
Oh yeah.
Okay. Yes. If I don't know, if I saw his partner cheating and I don't notice her, like I know you for a whole 2 months, bitch, gone somewhere. I'm telling. But if you're talking about like a long-term relationship where if it's a long-term, both people, like I was saying before, that's hard because you caught them. No one came to you and gave you this information. You caught them.
Mm-hmm. Okay, Caroline, what do you think?
Thanks for coming to me. Why specifically me?
I'm going in a circle so we can kind of be concise.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I mean, I don't know what the code is. Again, I'm not a huge fan of something called bro code, but if I'm friends with somebody and Adam's dating somebody and I find his girlfriend is like cheating through my reverse image search on Facebook, or I see something or that, I'm telling. I'm a snitch. I really will. I will tell. Don't ever put your secrets on me. I'll tell anybody. I'll tell the law. I'll call 911. Like, I mean, so yeah, I would tell.
Okay, Tim.
Timmy D.
Oh no, Tim.
Oh, he's
Tim's big
frozen.
frozen.
Oh no, poor guy.
Oh no.
Go ahead, Callie.
Hey, like I just put in the chat, I'm Paul Revere to my boy's house. If I walk in on that, or I don't care how I find out. If I find out that he's getting cheated on by with his girl's cheating on him or whatever, that's it. I'm double timing to his place. I'm at work. I don't care. I'm going to get him somehow. I'm gonna let him know. And if it's my female bro, same thing. I'm going to tell her right away.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Megan.
Like Georgia said, like if it's really long term and you're friends with both people, I think the bro code should be called the hypothetical code, because there's a hypothetical for every single question. Like there's a hypothetical for every situation. It depends on the question. It depends on this. It depends on that. So it always depends. So bro code is very straw man's logic to me, I guess.
Yeah, the world is not black and white. There's always gray areas. So this seems
absolutely.
Yeah, but men are stupid, so we need something really like just basic to
I'll
follow.
agree with
We need some
I can agree
guidelines.
with that.
Yeah.
I'll agree with it.
Okay, Tim.
I think bros need like the left and right limit. We need some guidelines here on how to act. But I agree. I think if you find out somebody cheated on your bro, man, woman, doesn't matter. Like you're obligated to tell them right away. Period.
Okay. Adam.
You're big muted.
Yes.
You're still muted.
I think he's doing that on purpose.
Go. So you want to go to me, and then you can finish on him.
Go back to Adam.
He's doing a bit.
I don't think it's a bit.
I don't think he's doing bits. I think he's
bit first.
It's not a bit.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Yes, you're good.
Sorry, Jason. Go ahead.
Go, Adam.
Okay. I feel like I feel like when you insert yourself into someone's relationship, that could end up backfiring back on you. And so, the logic of the ultimatum from previously, I think holds strong. Again, we're talking about someone in a long-term relationship, not someone that they just started dating or something like that. But if that is someone's partner, and you catch them, then it's like, hey, I see this right now. I need you to talk to my friend about this before I have a chance to. I'm going to talk to them about it in 2 days. So just FYI, that's happening. And, maybe that ends up backfiring as well, but at least you're not the bearer of bad news, because people can really take that and blame you rather than actually blame the person.
Okay. Adam?
I want to say that Jason said some good stuff, and I agree with you.
I feel like the bro code gets a lot of people murdered.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Adam, before we go into that bit.
Well, that's a tough thing to follow.
Adam?
Let me say hi to Becky Becker first.
Hey, Becky.
You out here.
Hi.
I think anything that puts you in a situation where you have to deny your own truth is negative. I think it's negative. I think I want to be around. I want to be around friends. If we're all 8 of us friends, I want Nick to be like, Adam, you're an asshole right now. I want Nick to be like, you're being taken advantage of right now. I want Megan to be like, you're acting like a prick or whatever. I want it all. And I think it's a false friendship. Now, granted, if I say, I know that, Megan, but I'm going to fight this motherfucker, I expect Megan to take her glasses off and fight with me. Yeah, So
Adam, don't do what you're doing right now. Save that, because we're going to do our final thoughts still.
Okay.
I don't want you to, because you were doing some nuggets, and I don't want you to give them away before the final thoughts.
Yeah, because what if the person forgives the person and then they blame you for bringing the drama?
Timmy D's on the phone.
Yeah,
right
then
now.
you're cut off.
Look at this.
Adam, you got to save your content, dude. Or your final thoughts are going to suck.
I don't have content.
Ask me how that works.
Media.
Anybody who's just joining us, the question was, if you're a bro who catches your bro's significant other cheating, you tell them immediately.
Jerry Maguire had asked Timmy D over there.
Look, it's important. My response to that is this: you absolutely don't tell them immediately. This is what you do: you take a picture, then you go directly to your friend. I'm sorry, your friend's partner. lock eyes with them, be like, I see you right now, and then just leave. That's what you do.
So you're torturing people.
No,
Yeah,
what
you can be as petty as you want. The end game is the same.
Yeah.
That's almost exactly what I said, except yours is more of a threat than just trying to speak on a human level.
Wait, what did you walk in on, Dureyea? What if she's just at a business meeting? Did you walk in P in the G, or what are we talking?
Situationally, if something happened,
holy crap,
that was caught, it was clearly something that was catchable and undeniable. So
Like
in order to avoid your friend, like some people have said, getting mad at you, I've seen that happen. I've seen it where people, it's like, oh, you tell the friend and the friend blames you, says you're jealous, and then you end up losing your friend.
Yeah.
So what you do, the reason I would do what I just said is I would go to that person, let them know that I saw them, and then I wouldn't do anything. Then they would have to ruminate and they would try to get ahead of it, and then they would tell on themselves. And then you don't have to put your friendship. I think they would.
They might try to destroy your
They would
character.
wait for the shoe to drop. Yeah.
I like the whole taking the picture, then you just create a fake Gmail account and email it to the person. Where'd it come from?
Okay.
Oh
my God.
Yeah, wow, we got real deep with this one. I'm learning some strategies for next time.
Okay. Anyway, I feel like it's important in a situation like that to be aware of the dangers that come with telling your friend the truth, which sucks because then you have to say which one matters more, my friendship or
the truth.
My soul. Can I sleep at night?
Right. And so sometimes the answer is your friendship is not as important as making sure that this person's safe. However, what sucks is if you go to that person, tell them what happened, and then the relationship backfires, they still end up kicking you to the curb and staying with that guy anyway. It's like, well,
yeah,
that was for nothing. Okay. So before final,
but then at that point, is that like somebody that you actually want to be friends with?
Which is a great question. Great question. Okay, so we're gonna head
hey, I was honest with you.
Before we go, I'm sorry, we're gonna head into our final thoughts. But before we go into our final thoughts, we're going to pause for one last ad break.
Hi, I'm Jessalyn Pease Garrett, author of Timeless, The Law of the Coven, my new book that came out August 1st of this year. This is the second in the Timeless series, and it features a teenage witch. She's gonna hone her magical abilities, and we're gonna pit her against a dark coven of witches. So I hope you enjoy this book as much as I enjoyed writing it. Timeless, The Law of the Coven is available online from all your favorite retailers. Thanks, guys.
That was Jessalyn Pease Garrett, author extraordinaire. She's got an amazing anthology of books coming, and there's more to come. There's 2 already, Timeless, like she said, and the first one is called, I don't remember the first one, what it was called, but they're both awesome. They're about like this witch who gets these abilities to stop time. It's kind of cool. So check those out. All right. So now we're going to do our final thoughts. Final thoughts are a point where we get to go around and as a panel, we get to say what we want people to leave with from this conversation or what we as an individual are going to leave with from the conversation. You can talk about anything from our main topic or from our current events, anything that's on your heart that you want to get out there. And so we'll start with Georgia.
I guess pretty much today we learned that divorce sucks badly. And don't take your child across state lines to cause shit. And bro codes have flaws, and they're not black and they're not white. They are hypothetical situations, and it sucks a lot of them, but I guess it applies in some situations.
Okay. Caroline?
Oh, I'm so overwhelmed. What do I want to say? I'm not going to say shit about bro code because we just talked a lot about it, and it is what it is. Be a good friend. Try to be a good person. The deadline for registering to vote is coming up in a lot of states. So if you're not registered to vote, or you know someone in your family or one of your friends that's not registered to vote, it would be a rule breaking bro code not to talk to them about registering and talk to them about the importance of what's at stake this upcoming election. It's our literal democracy. So yeah, that's what I would want to say, to register to vote and make sure that everybody in your life is registered. Make your voice heard.
Awesome. All right, hit us with it, Tim.
He's still muted.
You're muted, buddy.
Tim, you're muted.
Chill. I got it. Okay.
Well, you weren't acting like it.
Before I get to my final thoughts, I do want to ask a question that I was trying to ask after the commercial. But Dureyea, when are you releasing your book, your screenplay about?
Don't do that. It's those secrets that I told you.
Bro, that was like
I know it was
12
epic.
years ago.
You're like, no, I've literally rewritten it like 8 times. I have a rewrite of it now. And the rewrite of it is like, and I'm trying to decide if I want to split it into 2 episodes or condense it into one. I'm leaning towards splitting into 2 episodes, but I'll figure that out later. But it's pretty dope. I know.
I feel like you might want to put that out there for the world to read because it was really, 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 really good. But anyways, back to my final thoughts. I saw a meme today and it said that 6 months ago when the pandemic started, the Congress sent $1,200 to each American. And then somebody commented underneath that and said, for $6 a day, you can sponsor an American. And Sarah McLaughlin said, I can donate my music to this. So I just want to point out the fact that Congress as a whole, left or right, Republican, Democrat, is fucking worthless. And they're not doing shit for us right now as people. But other than that, I love these conversations. I always enjoy them. And I appreciate each and every one of y'all.
Awesome. Tell us about something, Nick.
Yeah, I'm not gonna harp on any of the stuff we talked about. I just want to say everybody love everybody. I say it every time I'm on here. Shout out to the boys in Discord who are watching, giving me shit the whole time. And go Stars. We're not going home. So there we go.
I wish I could figure out how to broadcast on Discord. Maybe you can help me figure that out because I don't want to do that. But
I don't know. Maybe.
Okay. I mean, you sounded like you was hip to the hip. Megan?
A lot of what everybody else said. I mean, just be a good person. Don't uphold toxic people. Don't allow that in your life. Let people that make you like your best self in your life. And Chad might be able to help you with Discord, Dureyea. I'll talk to him about it.
Awesome. What you got for us, Adam?
I think if you align yourself with a group of people who don't hold you to a truthful standard on anybody's part, I think you're false. I think you are in a toxic relationship with your friends. And if your friends aren't holding yourself to a standard you've talked to them about in the past that you want to be, get the fuck out. Be out of that, because that's a toxic relationship. Also, good to see Megan. Megan's a very talented writer, and you should check out her shit. If she has any shit out there, I haven't seen it, but she's never failed once. I think bro code is an insane standard to hold yourself to, where you feel like you can get away with bullshit because you have 3 or 4 people around you in a moment of insanity that support you, and that's false. I think if you have a friend who's ready to go buck wild on somebody for a bullshit reason, like they spilled a drink in a bar, and you know the consequences of that drink spill are like, this man could go to jail. I know he's a badass, so he's going to kill somebody or whatever. And you let them do that, that's on you. That's fucking on you. Don't be a bro that allows your bro to hold themselves to something less than success or a higher standard. Hold your bros to the standard you hold them to. Mm-hmm. Like, don't let them drop below that shit. Because if I have a bro that doesn't hold me to a higher standard, I don't want that bro. I want bros that like lift me up. I want the shit that's gonna make me a better person. That's the friends I want around me, not the ones that are like, you know what, Adam's being a dumbass right now, but let's let him be a dumbass. Anyway.
All right, Jason.
I mean, it's been said a lot by the other panelists, but I mean, it's not my place to judge someone if they're trying to live by a code that they consider to be a code that's worth living by, as long as it's not hurting anyone. And so, however you want to phrase it, whoever you want to be, it all comes down to just like have empathy for humans. And I think that's really, whether it's bro code, whether we're talking about hero versus all of the stuff, I think it's just And whether we're talking about there are people in Congress that are fighting to do things that are good for people in our country, AOC. But I just want to say, yeah, AOC, hell yeah. I think it's just have empathy. We're humans. We're not trying, just don't try and hurt each other.
Yes. All right. Those were excellent final thoughts. I think you all turned what I was expecting to be a rump-roarious occasion into one that was quite rump-roarious, but also like really insightful and mindful, because we really got to like some real things.
Is that a real word?
Rump-roarious?
I don't know.
It's a word.
That's a great word.
So basically, as far as my final thoughts go, my final thoughts are this. To piggyback on what everybody else said, empathy and compassion is severely lacking in this country and in this world. And you can't ask for something you're not willing to give. So if you're seeking compassion in the world, if you feel like you're not seeing it enough, then create it yourself. And then you'll see it more often, whether it's from your own actions or from attracting similar actions, because people become inspired by what you're doing. The thing about friendships they're very important. All your relationships are important. Cultivate them, water them, watch them grow, feed them, make sure that you're giving as much as you're getting from them. And I really love what Adam said about this idea behind putting people around you that are going to challenge you and make you better. Every single one of my friends calls me on my shit. They don't do it in public, but they call me on my shit. And they make sure.
Last night, but see, we don't do that in public.
Okay, we're gonna talk when we get off here. But make sure that you are doing everything you can do to make your community, your country, your world better. Stop littering, freaking vote, listen, hear, share, all that stuff that sounds ridiculous that you were told in kindergarten, which is probably the most intelligent things you've ever learned in your life. Start listening to that. I'm gonna get off my soapbox now. I love you guys so much. Make sure you check us out by going to on Instagram at WNM_Talk It Out, on Facebook, WNM Talk It Out. You can subscribe to our YouTube channel by searching Woe Nelly Media on YouTube. And you can also see you can listen to our audio versions of these episodes on Anchor, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, and more. Every Monday at 6 a.m. there's a new episode available. So if you like to jog in the morning Monday, get your week started off right. Having said that, I want to remind everyone, Talk It Out is a space where people of opposing views can get together and have a healthy, productive dialogue in a respectful way. Keeping in mind that it's not always about proving who's right and who's wrong. Sometimes it's simply about listening and being heard. Have a good night.